Hello everyone, and welcome to this 40k faction review. We've obviously had the Dataslate, haven't we, Michael?
We have, yes. It was very good.
And obviously now, there's a bit of a shake-up, I think.
There is a bit. I think it's very important to talk about some of the changes, albeit subtle.
Yep.
This is, I think, the first time VT have ever done a faction tier list.
I believe so.
I'm very excited, Steve.
You sound very excited.
I'm very excited.
So anyway, what we're going to do for you today, if you've seen our Chaos Legion tier one, we're going to do something in a very similar style. We're going to do this a little bit different. But first of all, what I want to do is welcome you all if you're watching us live. I want to know where you are tuning in from. Also, I want to know the faction that you're playing, just so I can straight away register if you're biased.
Yes.
I want to know all those biased people out there. I'm probably going to be a little bit biased to Blood Angels, obviously. But anyway, the reason why we don't have a game tonight, if many of you sort of saying in the chat, unfortunately, Jake is sick. So without Jake, the stream just could not happen tonight. We were a man down, and unfortunately, we've tried to put on some content for you for your evening, but obviously a little bit different to, obviously what you might expect from us on a normal Wednesday night. But hopefully next week we'll be back to our regular routine.
Yeah.
So we have gone through every single faction, and we've given everything a mark, okay?
There's a lot of them, Steve.
There is a lot of factions, more than I thought. And what we've done is we've got 4 categories.
Yes.
So the 4 categories are going to be how well that faction plays the mission, the primary mission. So this is things like, for example, their speed, their durability, their ability to hold objectives.
Yeah.
You know, can they turn off objectives secured? All those different shenanigans that they have around objectives. We're then going to look at their ability to play secondaries. So that in terms of their choice.
Yep.
And consistently, can they score between, I suppose, 12 and 15 points
I think
per
so.
secondary?
I think so, yeah. Choice, how good their options are, and also how fast they can score them.
Yeah, okay, nice. And then we've also got, so there are 2, and we're going to give those a mark out of 5.
That's right.
Okay, so then we've got 2 more factions, which is the army's damage output. So literally, how deadly are these factions?
Yeah.
That's going to be the next category that we're going to look at. And then also the army rules. So that's the 4th and final category for tonight. So this includes things like the stratagems, warlord traits, relics.
The power of the data sheets.
Yeah, the power of the data sheets. Now, we are going to be looking this from a sort of rose-tinted glasses, from a competitive standpoint.
Yes.
When we did this, the only way to do this was to look at the most powerful build.
Yeah.
And look at it and go, well, how does this one perform? Otherwise, you could take, for example, Chaos Space Marines, and there could be a wide host of variety within that. So if we said something like, how does it play the secondaries? Well, some factions in Chaos Space Marines are going to play it better than others.
Definitely.
So what we're going to do is we're going to tell you that, and we're going to go straight into it. So let's not mess about, Michael. First of all, we've got a super chat here from Mandy. Thank you so much, Mandy. If you do want to support us here on the show, super chatting in your question is a great way to not only get your questions answered, but also to support us here. Mandy's with a $10 donation. Thank you so much. Mefrit Necrons are the best Necrons. Is that the objective secured Necrons, Mefrit?
Unfortunately not.
Oh, that's a shame. But Mandy, good work for not playing Obsecrons. Yeah, a lot of respect
We
to you there.
respect you.
Okay, what we've got here, Alex Art, I'm totally not biased towards Dark Angels and Custodes, Imperial Fist, we've got from Captain Jim, Andy Raven Guard from Plymouth, okay, awesome, West Coast Canada, Emperor's Children and Orks, so covering the spectrum, yeah, somebody plays Night Lords,
My man.
what an idiot. Alex Art, I feel like the Harlequins are definitely going to score quite highly on all these categories. Okay, so here we go.
Tuning in from the downstairs loo.
What? We don't have a downstairs. Just got. There.
No, someone's tuning in from the downstairs loo.
Oh dear.
We asked what country. We don't really need to know the specifics.
I don't know. I do quite like the specifics, actually. Yeah. Let me know what room you're in. Yeah.
Maybe some of the factions will join you in there.
Okay. So we thought about having the poo scale. Anyway. Okay. So here we've got, first of all, we've got Adeptus Mechanicus. Now look at these graphics. They are. Who did those? They look great.
They look great. They're
they look
amazing.
fantastic.
Absolutely amazing.
Okay, so Michael, I suppose I better bring up your scores for you. Are you ready with your scores on the doors?
I'm ready.
Okay, so let's just open this out into a new tab, and then you'll be able to see that a little bit easier, and probably should zoom in a bit for you.
Okay.
Okay, so Adeptus Mechanicus, Michael. We've got... I need to find them.
There they are.
For example, How well do we think they are going to play the mission, Michael? From 1 to 5, what are you going to give them?
It's a 3.
It's a 3. Why a 3?
So they've got some mobile units. They've got a lot of vehicle things, so quite hard to kill. So if you stack your objectives, you can hold them quite well. And, of course, some of the main strength is in those big 20-man blobs, which are objective secured. They've got that stratagem back now to auto-pass morale if they're on an objective.
Yeah.
And I think that just really helps them hold on to the primary.
Yeah.
And, of course, because their main power is in their OBSEC units, then they can go and take objectives as well if they need to.
Yeah, and obviously now with Lucius being able to stack with, cover again, very, very strong to keep these, units alive. And they've got some really nice fast units like the Cerberus Raiders to go out and get an early objective. They've got infiltrating units, Rustalkers, which can advance in charge. And there are some different elements there. So, yeah, I do agree. I think a 3 is great. Oh, John, you absolute legend. Is just gifted 50 memberships. John, thank you so much. Honestly, your continuation of supporting the channel means the world to us, John. So thank you very much. Make sure you claim your gifted membership and say thank you to John in the chat. What a legend. We've got some awesome content coming up for you this week. We're going to go through my Emperor's Children list that I took the GT at the weekend.
You came second, Steve.
I did come second, yeah. I lost to the one and only VT Ben Jones in the final by 3 points.
And actually, if you're an Ynnari fan, we're going to do some content on Ynnari soon, specifically focused on Ben Jones' list. Because it's really, really interesting. I found playing it, because I played Ben Jones as well, I found playing against the Incarn was so interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how you felt about it.
Oh, I just tried to kill it as quickly as I could. But it certainly did give me a brain puzzler. Okay, so here we got then, continuing with our AdMech, their secondary play, Michael. What are you giving it? This is this rated quite highly on the poo scale. Why a 1 on the secondaries?
So for me, none of their faction secondaries are great.
Okay.
They don't have any psychers. I mean, you could put an Inquisitor in.
Which I think you probably have to.
You probably have to, just to unlock a psychic thing. But then you've only got one psyker. So even then...
It's not reliable.
It's not reliable.
Could even be a trap.
Yeah. You got things like retrieve Nachman data, but they're actually quite hard to build for AdMech. Because your big blobs want to be doing stuff. And you got like the... what they call Taraxi that can deep strike and do it. But
then you need a unit of 6.
Yeah.
And actually some of the most powerful units in that codex are fast attack. So there's a lot of sort of competition there around the fast attack slots. Yeah. So no, I do agree with that. So you kind of ended up going for engageable fronts.
Exactly.
R&D. But okay, cool. All right. Then we're going to go for example, next up on our category is their damage output. And you've given them a...
Oh, let me get it. There it is. It's a 4.
4. Why a 4 then on damage output for...
It's quite high.
Okay.
But we've just seen most of their damaging strats sort of come back.
Yeah.
They're cheaper now.
Yeah.
And they've got that 4+ auto wound. They've got callback on all of their walkers, their chicken walkers.
Yeah.
I think their damage output is still almost just as good as it was when they first came out.
Well, yeah, it is.
Well, yeah. Granted, they've lost a plane and Armor of Contempt's come out. They're still fantastic.
Yeah.
For their shooting power. So, and Rustalkers in combat are nasty.
And the thing is, with Armor of Contempt, actually, ignoring cover is more important these days. And volume of shots, even 0 AP, but ignoring cover, you're still wounding Marines on 3s rather than 2s. So even with 0 AP, so actually that's stronger than, for example, -1 when they're in cover.
Yeah.
So when you start to think of it like that, the ignore terrain or cover is really, really strong.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. And then finally, the last category, we got their army rules. What are you giving them for their army rules?
It's another 4.
Okay. Now...
They are complex.
They are... quite a
little bit.
Quite a complex one, that one. Okay. So in terms of, though, why a 4 in terms of... Why have you given it a 4 out of 5?
Okay, so a 4 out of 5. Their rules, so their doctrines and everything, are effective pretty much the entire game.
Yeah.
They affect all of the units. You know, getting +1 to hit for ballistic skill, like across your entire army, that's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Getting extra move, extremely powerful.
And the great thing about it is you can pick when they happen.
Yeah.
So in the hands of somebody that knows what they're doing, they are very powerful. The ability to like put command abilities on any units on the table where they are because of command links very strong. For example, Mars, when they can get Canticles and also the Doctrines, meaning you can get a reroll for this, a reroll for Mars. All of a sudden, you're getting 2 rerolls to hit on a unit that shouldn't get rerolls because maybe it's not core. All of a sudden, that's really starting to pack quite a good amount of power. And there's so much complexity there. You know, you've got things like fall back and shoot. You've got teleport. You've got all the tricks you need there. You've even got a fight last.
A fight last on a squad sergeant. I don't think any other book has that.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic. I think they've got some really good tools in there.
Advance in charge, +1 attack. You know, with the Rust Stalkers in the Army of Renown. So
yes,
obviously that is still relevant. Okay, yeah, I like it. So then the total for AdMech. Do you know? We're going to give you the totals at the end. All right, that's what we're going to do. Totals at the end. So next up, Michael, if you want to go over the super chat, while I just get up the screen.
Josu Areola. Forgive me if I've not said that right. Hello, I'm still figuring out which Craftworld to build a list around. It's either Ulthwé or Votann for a tournament, hopefully. Interesting. I think Votan's fantastic if you're going very aspect heavy. So you got that stratagem for exploding 6s for aspect warriors, and they do have a great warlord trait and relic. Ulthwé, though, I think is better on the secondary side. You can get that guaranteed undeniable cast on your psychic for psychic secondaries. So it depends which aspect of the Eldar you really, really like. Do you like the psychers? Do you want to make sure you get your secondaries off, or are you really, really into your aspects? Because Votann is also a fantastic trait.
Yeah, I think the Votann will probably put out a little bit more damage, but maybe the Ulthwé a little bit more survivable. So yeah, either way, I think it is a good call. Yeah. Right. So next up, never heard of this faction before. It's Astra Militarum.
Astra Militarum.
Okay. So Michael, obviously new book on the way.
Yes. Very excited.
We don't know when, but there's a new one apparently. Games Workshop showed off some awesome new models. Now, this does mean we are just going to be reviewing, no spoilers, the current Adeptus Astra Militarum rules as they stand.
Exactly.
Does that include Psychic Awakening and all that kind of stuff?
It will do, yeah.
So that we're essentially reviewing their 8th edition Codex.
That's right.
Not their 9th, which will hopefully come out at some point soon, as obviously Games Workshop have mentioned. We're not, as you know, if you're fans of the channel, we do not talk about leaks here.
No.
Personally, I absolutely detest them. So that's why we're not going to be talking about them.
No, we're not, because otherwise this will be a 3-hour stream and you'll just be ranting at the screen.
Yeah, okay, cool. We won't do that again. So, Michael, what have you given this army for its ability to play the mission on the primary?
Unfortunately, someone has to have a 1.
Someone has to have. I said to Michael earlier, somebody has to have a 1.
And I was like, it breaks my heart. But first of all, they don't have horses yet.
Don't go breaking my heart. I couldn't if I tried.
Yeah. So because they don't have horses yet, obviously that's 1. But if you look at what they've got, they've got very fragile units that can't really hold objectives against a really dedicated army.
Right.
Like if you've got a combat army, it's very difficult for Guard to stop you taking an objective off them. And likewise, beyond move with an OBSEC unit of infantry, taking objectives off the enemy is very difficult as well. If they've got a heroic intervention on an objective,
you're dead.
You're dead. You have no way of taking it.
Yeah, on the poo scale, you're rating pretty highly there, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay,
you're probably in that downstairs loo.
Downstairs loo territory,
Let's be real. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So secondaries, what are you going to give them?
Secondaries, so I have given them, I believe, a 3.
Have you? You have?
Yes.
You've given them a 3.
So I've looked at them and I've really wanted to play them since all their changes. Their secondaries are actually really good. So they've got 1 secondary just for having infantry squads in quarters, just infantry. 1 secondary for just having infantry around their officers.
Yeah.
So you don't have to interact with your opponent. And there's 1 where you get points for doing actions on objectives. So they're good secondaries. They've got 2 that are fantastic. They do have psychic options with really cheap psychic characters.
Yeah.
However, the main issue here is that they give up secondaries so easily that I can't give them any more than a 3.
Okay. So their ability to basically just give you points.
Exactly. Counteract their ability to get them.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Matt Laura, VT Matt, one of our coaches and fantastic player, said, how can Astra Militarum have a 1? It's simply put 50 guys on each objective. I mean, you're giving away a lot of no prisoner points there, Matt. You really are. Okay, well, maybe...
How many guardsmen does 10 Death Company kill?
All of them. Yeah.
Okay. Poor guardsman.
Yeah, unlucky. Sorry about that. Mandy said, Stephen coming in with that singing voice. See, Mandy knows. VT needs a karaoke night. I agree. And welcome, Chris, for being a lieutenant. Awesome. Okay, now next up, Michael, we've got power.
Power.
The power.
The power. Right, okay.
What? Or are they more like, we've got power. We've got a little bit of power. What are you giving them?
It is a 2.
A 2. Cool.
It's a 2.
Damage output, 2.
Damage output,
A poo, you were going to say, weren't you?
Damage output is a bit poo.
Yeah.
It's a 2. They don't really do combat.
Nope.
Bullgrins now are, well, not very good because Armor Contempt means their AP1 is rubbish.
Yep.
They don't really do any psychic. Their shooting is about it.
Yeah.
And frankly, hitting on 4s with basically no buffs to that beyond tank commanders means it's not great.
It's not great, is it?
It's not great.
No.
It's
okay.
not great.
And then army rules.
Army rules, right. I think this may have been a 1. Again, somebody had to have a 1. But if you look at the army rules for most other factions, right?
Yeah.
These guys have got their 6s auto hit, auto wound rather, to hit. But so what? They're like AP, nothing, strength. Yeah. It's not good enough. And then their traits, you got something like Cadians where if they stand still, they get real ones to hit.
Yeah.
It's not really good. It's not. Let's be real.
No, okay. All right, so there we have it. That's their final score. It's not a big one. I'm pretty sure I've got that many fingers on one hand. It's not a huge score, is it?
No, it's not.
But anyway, we're going to swiftly move on. I'll reset the scores. And we'll go quickly jump into the chat. Richard Kilton, the legendary Orc war boss himself, is here. He said, Stephen, so excited to hear your Orc ranking. Okay, Mr. Kilton, I'm sure you'll have
Matt says 10 Catachans near a priest and Strachan is 32 strength 4 attacks in combat. Boah, imagine that.
Imagine that. You go steady there, Matt. You go steady. Yeah. On the plus side, Matt, Tyler Swift's new album's pretty good, isn't it? You know. Anyway, so next up, we're going to go for, sticking with this Imperium theme, we've got my favourite, or one of's, the Sisters.
Okay.
So let's have a little look at their primary scoring potential.
Right.
What have you given them? Primary mission.
3.
Why a 3, Michael?
They're quite fragile.
Okay, yeah.
So you can kill them off objectives quite easily. They're mostly toughness 3, which means that, going in with something like strength 4, just basic Marines, will usually kill a squad of 5 Sisters of Battle.
Yeah.
Their resilience is pretty limited. Yes, they've got Repentir that fight on death, but they still die, and then you take the objective off them.
Yeah.
I don't think their primary control is particularly strong, and they don't have a huge objective secured presence.
No. Order Martyred Lady is a little bit better, but we are thinking that kind of traditional Bloody Rose list.
Yeah,
exactly. So their ability to deny objectives is probably better than necessarily their ability to hold them.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'd agree with that. All right, so let's put their points on. You said a 3?
A 3. Yep,
okay, cool.
Right.
So let's go on to their secondaries. What are you giving the secondary scoring potential of the Sisters?
Oh, big surprise.
Big surprise. Ding, ding, ding.
A 5.
The big 5. Somebody had to have it, and Sisters surely do.
Look, if you could take 4 secondaries in the game, you're still picking all 4 of the Sisters ones. Let's be real. They're so good.
Leap of Faith is fantastic.
Yeah.
Defend the Shrine.
Yeah.
Sacred Ground.
Yeah.
They're all absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And they still perform things like R&D really well.
Yes.
They can absolutely murk characters for assassinate.
Yeah, they can.
So they really have. And then obviously, if you haven't taken Inquisitor, you've even got like your Boar options and all those other things as well. And they bring it down. Well, Sisters eat tanks for breakfast.
Exactly. So. And their rate of scoring is very fast as well. Leap of Faith you can max in about 3 turns. Sacred Grounds, which is the action one, that one you can do in the last turn and get 10 points, which is
huge.
So,
it really is. Yeah.
They've got fantastic secondaries.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to damage output for the Sisters. We're going to give damage output, please, Michael.
It's a 4.
Okay, why a 4?
So they've got great shooting, and they've got great combat.
Yep.
But they are limited. They don't have any sort of psychic stuff going on. Also, a lot of their shooting is pretty much just anti-tank.
Range 24.
And
that's
range
about
24, yeah. But their combat is absolutely lethal.
Yeah, it really is.
And yeah.
Fight on death.
Absolutely lethal.
Yeah, all
Fight
that.
on death.
Okay.
Very difficult to interact with.
So army rules, what are you giving them?
Army rules. I believe it's a 4 again.
It is a 4, yeah.
Miracle dice. Fantastic mechanic for them. I mean, I hate it, but it's a great mechanic for them. Just getting where you need to get to on the board, being able to do the 6 damage you need to do.
Look, Michael,
put it in for a save.
Some of us can't roll dice, okay? So we have to use miracle dice as a crutch.
This
okay?
is true.
Like me. Yep, I will fail a 3-inch charge multiple times. So having a miracle dice,
yep.
you know, you need it. You just need it to stay sane. Okay, that's a pretty decent score there, I think, for the Adeptus Sororitas. Maybe one of the higher ones we've seen so far. Yep. Like I said, if you are just joining us, we have got compiled every single faction here, and at the end, we are going to reveal our scores. So you'll see where every single faction, in our opinion, comes out on. So if you are new to the game, hopefully this video will serve as a bit of an idea of maybe how those armies might play. And obviously, if you're a more tournament experienced player, then hopefully this might indicate what you might be up against for the next few months.
Yes.
Okay.
Or whether you should start a different army.
Or that, yeah. Okay, cool. If you're one of those meta chasers. Okay, cool. So next faction. Obviously, any questions? I want to know, are you agreeing with us so far, chat? Have we got anything completely wrong? Let us know any kind of ones.
I actually think Astra Militarum should be a 20. 5 for everything.
You reckon?
No. They don't have horses, Steve. How could they possibly be 5 for anything without horses?
Yet.
Yes.
They're coming, Michael. Yet. They are galloping.
Then it's going to be straight 5s.
Just look to the west at the
on the 5th.
On the 5th day, when the dawn sun rises
over the hill to the east. I think that's it. That's the one. Yeah.
Okay, so Alex said, will you be splitting out sub-factions like EC and Bile? No, what we're actually doing is taking the most broken list, in our opinion, in basically using that as our synopsis.
Yes.
Okay, so we can touch on a couple of these different ways, but we are, and we'll tell you which kind of list we're thinking about. Like we said, with like the Bloody Rose classic list with, loads of Repentia and Zephyrin and stuff like that, okay? Right, okay, cool. So let me reset the scores, and next up, we're going to go for... It's the Golden Boys.
Oh, the Custodes.
It's Custodes. Yeah, very nice. Okay, cool. So Custodes, Michael, what are you giving it for its army potential?
Well, for its primary potential.
Primary potential, yeah. What are you going to give it?
I'm giving it a 4.
All right, why a 4?
Well, it's interesting because they lost objective secured on a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
But they're very, very hard to kill.
Yeah.
And the stuff that does have objective secured is quite killy as well. If we're thinking of our top list.
And let's be honest, Guardians, just Custodian Guardians,
yes,
for 135 points, for 3 of these guys, they are durable, reasonably fast for their size and durability. They're absolutely fantastic. They are brilliant, and I think, if you had 6 units of Guardians, that's got a lot of play supported by characters and some bikes and some others, maybe some Dreadnoughts. So, yeah, I would agree with that. I think they've got some good shenanigans, and also they've got that character that can turn off OBSEC as well.
Yes, they have, yeah.
So they've got some OBSEC flipping potential.
Yeah.
Right then, secondaries, what have you given them?
So, secondaries-wise, I have given them a 3.
Okay.
They're not great.
No, they've got a traditional kind of stranglehold, which nobody else has.
They do.
So that's quite nice, that kind of hold more.
Yeah.
That's always a good secondary.
Yeah, it's okay.
Doesn't give up a huge amount of points.
That's one of the other things, is they don't really give up any secondaries.
Yeah.
Like, you can take Assassinate against them, but there's only a couple of characters.
And that's a mistake.
That's a mistake. You can take Psychic Interrogation or something against them, but once the characters are dead...
That's a mistake.
And
if they've got Sisters of Silence...
Yeah, you can take Ritual, but let's be real, the weight of gold that's going to hit that middle, if you take Ritual...
That's a mistake.
Is a mistake.
Yeah.
So, in actuality... They're great. They can do banners really, really easily.
Engage in all fronts now being 3 models.
Yeah.
So starting units of 3, you can have one custodian running around now. They can easily get behind enemy lines with multiple units of one single Terminator. You drop them in, and that's such a small footprint. So.
Even pushing one side of the board with those dreadnoughts, you're guaranteed behind enemy lines.
You are.
So, and of course you can chuck an Inquisitor in.
Which I think you probably do.
Or 2.
Because you can keep them nice and safe.
You can.
Yeah.
And they can do your psychic stuff for you if it comes up.
I like it.
So I think they're okay, but they're nothing special.
Yeah. But that is Custodes, isn't it?
Yeah, they're nothing special.
Nothing
They're just
special.
the Emperor's finest.
Finest warriors. Just a nothing special kind of army.
Yeah.
Damage output, Michael. What are you going to give it?
Damage output. Right. What we got for this one? I think we've got a 3.
You've got a 3, yeah.
They're okay. Like, you got salvo launchers. I think most of the damage comes in really combat.
Yeah.
You got characters like Trajan absolutely wallop people around the field.
The champ. The blade champ.
The dreadnoughts are incredible, especially the sword one. I really like him.
Yeah, chat, I want to know what your thoughts are on the strongest custodian unit. What is the unit you do not leave home without? Let me know in the chat.
And what is the unit you're most concerned about seeing as well, if you're not a Custodes player?
Yeah.
What is their strongest unit?
Yeah, I like it.
Let us know.
Okay, we'll see what the chat says about what they think is the strongest unit. Because I think that's interesting to know as well, because that might obviously steer everything else. Okay, next up then, we've got their army rules.
Army rules, right.
What are you giving it?
Okay. So I think I've given it... it's not a 4. It's not a 4. It's a 3.
You could argue a 4, though.
It's because the Katars are very good.
Yep.
But I think losing the OBSEC probably takes it back down to a 3.
Yeah, I think as well, when you look at all the different ways, all the different shield hosts, I think there's a reasonable argument to take any of them.
Yeah.
I think, you could have some big debates about the strongest way to play it. Do you want to ignore all modifiers to either move and hit? I think that's really strong with Custodes because there's no real way to get full rerolls.
No.
So always hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s is really efficient.
Yeah.
Do you want to be able to heroically intervene up to 3 inches normally or 6 inches with a strat?
Yeah.
That's really strong to defend those objectives.
Yeah.
Do you want to be able to pick, advance in charge or something? I mean, there's all these different really cool rules in that book. It's very deep.
It is.
And an army that I think has been overlooked quite considerably because of the nerfs it's had, but I think there's still a lot of play in there.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
And because of the army rules, it includes things like stratagems, and they've got some of the best in the game.
They really do.
Turning off rerolls is incredible.
Combined
Data sheets are strong as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I think a lot of players, and particularly Chris Anderson, has really overlooked them of late.
yes.
Yeah, and just slags them off. So I don't like it.
And they're doing well at events as well. Their win rate's doing all right.
Yeah, I think they're doing steady.
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to see objective secured come back on the Terminators, though.
Yeah.
Just because, Death Guard have it, Thousand Suns, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just my personal opinion on Terminators. Right, okay, so next up we've got... That's Custodians done. We're going to move on to these guys. Now, when we're thinking about an Imperial Knight list, we're mainly thinking like the Army of Renown, right?
Yeah, the Free Blade Lance.
Ugh. And what makes this kind of strong?
So basically what you can do is you get a 4+ invuln when you give out... you have this character that gives out a bondsman ability. And when they get that bondsman ability, the armiger gets -1 damage as normal per the book. But they also get a 4+ invulnerable save.
Okay.
And you give it out to 2 armigers, and one of them is a permanent buff.
Right.
So over the course of the game, you can basically get almost all of your guys, your armigers, to a permanent 4-up invuln and -1 damage. And then, of course, whatever buff the actual bondsman ability is, whether that's reroll 1s to hit and wound or advance and charge.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. Seb, could you just zoom out a little bit on both of those cameras, the close-up cams, just because obviously this bit of graphic we've got is cutting us off a little bit.
Yeah. With the Free Blade Lance, you can take different traits.
Yeah.
One of them is Trans Hitman. So if you're trying to hit this knight, you can only hit it on 4s and more.
Yeah.
And nothing better than that. And then you've got other ones where if they don't get their attacks through you, they get to roll them again. Yeah. So there's a lot of really reliable stuff in there.
Yeah. No, I like it. No, okay, cool. So what we're looking for then in terms of their mission play, what have you given them? Their primary mission play.
I've given them a 5, a funf.
Okay, why a 5?
Because they're all objective secured and count as 5 models each on the little guys.
Yep, okay.
And then it's 10 on the big guy. And then eventually, if they accrue enough honor, they can become 8 objective secured models on each of the little ones. Because they have that staying power, if there's an armiger on an objective with a 4+ invuln and -1 damage and you can't kill it, they're going to have that objective. They're going to get more primary than you. Yeah. And it's so easy for them to just send an armiger 12 inches, or with the full tilt stratagem, they go an extra 9 with their advance if they're an armiger. 21 inches and nick an objective off someone because
Okay.
you're 5 obsec models.
Nice. And then what about their secondary play? Then what's that kind of looking like, do you think?
Secondary wise, I have given them a 4.
Yep.
They're very good secondaries.
Yeah.
Very good.
They're also very uninteractive. The army
Yes.
just does it, and you need to stop it scoring
Exactly.
really before it can ramp up and pump them numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those ones you can't really do a lot about it beyond trying to stop a specific secondary. Like there's 2 of them you just can't do anything about.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. No, and I think that's a really fair point there. So, again, scoring very well straight out of the gate here.
Mm-hmm.
Damage output, surely this has got to be a 1. No?
It's another 4.
It's a 4. It's a 4.
Look, Helverins with extras to hit against monsters and vehicles. Flat damage 3.
Yep.
AP 2. It's still good, even against armor of contempt. Like you fail a save, something dies.
Yep.
There's a lot of melter in the army. Every single armiger has those 2 melter shots.
Yep.
And you got your big knight, of course, who's firing something big as well. And then in combat, of course, they're no slouch, as I've mentioned.
Yeah.
AP 4, flat 3 damage with each guy.
Nice. Okay, so army rules then.
Army rules. Well, it's a 4.
It's nearly a clean sweep.
It's nearly a clean sweep, yes. I think the Free Blade Lance is incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
The rules they get, healing a wound, as I've mentioned they each get a different household trait. The Trans Hitman's particularly powerful.
Yeah.
And getting just the -1 damage, 4 Pinvuns. Their stratagem's great, auto explode or a fight on death if you need it.
Yep.
Very, very strong.
Or even fall out of combat. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some really cool elements there. So just pick on a couple of things from the chat. Somebody said they're looking forward to joining the Academy. So we have a date for the Academy now. The next launch of the Academy is going to be happening in December.
That's right.
So you will be able to start purchasing your places for the Academy, the next intake in November. All the details will be announced over the next kind of couple of weeks, but we do have a waiting list. And if you're on that waiting list, then you'll probably get some perks for being on said waiting list. So make sure you go and join that. The link is in the description below.
Yep.
Just sign up, pop your email address in there, and make sure you turn on the button which allows me to email you. Otherwise, it's a bit pointless.
Yeah, you can't get your goodies.
You can't get those goodies, yeah. So again, absolutely fantastic. We've got a super chat here from 48th Ronin for $4.99. Thank you so much. If you could guess where Militarum would be, where would it be? Okay, I mean, we know the answer. Wouldn't be a guess.
No, it's 5s all round because they've got horses.
Coming soon.
Yeah.
Coming soon, Michael. Not now.
It's not even a question.
Right. But chat, let us know where you think Guard are going to end up in this ranking. Andy the Tech Dag for £3. Pack of Lemsip for Jake. Get well soon, fella. Yeah, I think he's faking it.
Yeah, he's clear. Look at him. He's in the chat.
He's in the chat. I'm not being funny, but if you're in the chat,
If you're clearly completely functional.
yeah, if you're on the downstairs loo, like some people in our chat as well, clearly you're fine.
Yeah.
Clearly.
We do have some answers to our strongest Custodes unit.
Go on.
So we've got obviously Dreads. A lot of people, and you're right, Dreads are very, very strong.
Yeah.
Caladius, a lot of people saying they're Caladius. Tanks are very, very good.
Yeah.
I remember when those were awful, like so good that.
Yeah. I just need to move this camera. Go on.
So, yeah, those were the days. Let's see, we got any other ones? Caladius, strongest unit is the Terminator Captain. With the Praetorian plate, teleporting and counting as more models on objectives, he's very, very strong. I agree. I personally think that the Guard themselves are massively overlooked. I'd like to see big units of Guard. And I think some of the strongest lists we've seen or that have done really well have been filled with these large units of Guard.
Very nice. Okay, cool. So, what we've got next? All the scores on the doors there for the Knights. We've got next. Oh dear.
It's the space. What do you mean, oh dear?
It's the poster boys.
They're the finest warriors in the Imperium, apart from the Custodes, who we just sacked off.
We just said they're average.
Yeah.
Completely, utterly average, apparently.
Yeah.
All right, so Space Marines.
The Emperor's finest.
What did you give their ability to play the mission? The primary.
I've given them a 3.
Why a 3?
Well, they have some tools like Rites of War, the Warlord trait, to give out objectives secured. They have movement on units with jump packs. And, of course, it can be pretty resilient with transhuman physiology, where you can't win them on anything better than a 4. So they've got tools to stay around and take objectives off people. But I wouldn't say it's anything amazing. I wouldn't say they've got loads of OBSEC. They're units that do have objectives secured. Aren't the ones that really push objectives and things. So
they're okay.
They're okay.
Yeah. Like the Rites of War, I think, is probably the big one there. Potentially having a Reaver Lieutenant in for turning off OBSEC can also be quite strong.
Yeah.
But it's not really the main reason why, it could be stronger.
It could.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, what are you giving them for their secondaries?
Right, for their secondaries, it's a 2.
Okay. Now let's talk about this.
Okay.
They don't get a huge amount of just little chaffy units that are inexpensive to do actions for you, do they?
No, they don't.
You're looking at one of your cheapest is probably a tactical Marine squad.
Mm-hmm.
And only I'm stupid enough to take them in my list, apparently. For 95 points.
Yeah.
And that unit is literally doing nothing for you apart from settling an objective and maybe doing an R&D.
Yeah.
But there's not a huge amount else that really these units can contribute for.
Not really.
You're then paying 108 points for a unit of 6 Assault Marines to do an R&D for you. It really starts to rack up. You take that one Psyker, they die quickly. You're going to lose that mental interrogation. And then also you need a captain, you need a lieutenant, probably a chaplain's even better than a Libby.
Yeah.
So again, they really start to struggle. Having the shock tactics now come in at 4 points a turn rather than 3.
But that's, I think that helps. That really does help.
It does, but I don't know if it's quite far enough to really allow this army to,
I have to agree.
You've given them a 2.
I have given them a 2, for that reason. Their choices aren't great. To be honest, all of the ones that are specific to each chapter, there's nothing special there either.
They're very much like doing action based.
Yeah.
And often banners just comes out better.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly that.
Okay, I like it. So, army rules, what are you going for? Sorry,
army
damage
rules.
output first.
Damage output, okay. It's a 2.
A 2. Yeah.
So just to clarify, this is normal Space Marines. This is none of the supplements. This is just like your Imperial Fists, your founding chapters that aren't Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, or anything like that. It's a 2 because, well, I'm trying to think of the most dangerous shooting unit normal Space Marines have, and I think it might just be a Redemptor with a Macroplasma.
Yeah, probably is.
And I'm kind of like, sure, you shoot D6 shots at me each turn.
Have it.
I'll just remove a couple of models. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then in combat, their best units, I don't know.
Vanguard Vets.
And even then, they're not that scary.
Yeah.
So it's just a bit upsetting, really, isn't it? Because you got things like Blade Guard veterans that should be cool, should be chopping stuff up, but they're just not.
It's just upsetting.
It's just upsetting, really.
It's just upsetting.
Yeah, I think probably the best Space Marines.
Space Marines not powerful enough.
The best Space Marine chapter from the main book is probably White Scars.
Probably.
They've got a good secondary, actually.
And on to the next point, their army rules. You've given that a 2.
A 2, yes, a 2.
But White Scars may be pushing a 3 because advance in charge.
Full back in charge.
Is strong.
Very strong. And then that extra damage on top.
They get advance in shoot as well.
Advance in shoot, assault without penalty.
So they basically get 3 rules, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's really good.
It's pretty good.
So White Scars, if you are going to play normal Marines, just play the White Scars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think they're one of the stronger of the Marine chapters here. So we've got a couple of things here. Moonlight, I think it's a good question. How do you guys feel about the price of cost of getting into Leagues of Votann compares to more established armies currently available, and is it worth the cost versus value? Okay, so we've obviously we've done a video on basically painting up the army box.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic value.
It is.
Especially now of everything in that box has gone up in points.
Yep.
Technically, you get a lot more points for pounds. Or points for dollars.
Yep.
With just a couple of those boxes, you're looking at a pretty substantial army.
You are, and everything in that box is good. It's stuff you're going to take.
Yeah. And you then get to the next point, which is all the add-ons. And we've got loads more content coming for you all around that. and you don't really need a huge much else
No.
to get you cracking with a 2,000 point list. So I actually think the investment point of Votann is moderately low
Yeah.
compared to many of the other factions, like, you know, even like Genestealer Cult or Admech.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not low in the price to model count there.
Okay, cool. So great question, and I thought it would be a nice one to cover. So next up, we've got the Space Wolves.
Space Wolves, okay. So for their primary ability, I have given them a 3.
Yep.
They're killy. They've got some pretty fast units. Wolfen are no slouch. You know, if you were wanting to take Thunderwolf Cavalry, they can advance and charge. They're quite fast. You still have access to things like Rites of War.
Yeah.
And I think their staying power is basically just as good. One thing they do have, though, if you do remain pure Space Wolves, is that heroic intervention.
Yeah.
Excellent for keeping hold of your objectives. You've got a free stratagem for characters to heroically intervene, 6 inches, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
So I think they've got better primary play than standard Marines.
Yeah.
But again, it's not amazing. It's
Okay.
just sort of average.
Secondary.
Secondaries, it's a 3 again.
Yep.
Shock tactics, getting an upgrade didn't really affect Space Wolves because they've got Warrior Pride, which is just for charging. You get 3 points.
Yeah.
Which you're going to take every game.
And you can easily do that with things like Rhinos or
Or the Cyber Wolves.
Cyber Wolves.
Exactly.
Little subunits can just help you just achieve that kind of secondary, which I think is really strong for that faction. Yeah.
And their other secondaries are okay. You know, you could definitely take 1 or 2 of the other ones as well.
Yep. Damage output.
Damage output, 3.
Nice.
If Space Marines were a 2, Space Wolves definitely a 3. Wolfen absolutely slap.
Yeah.
So
Thunderwolf Cavalry.
Thunderwolf Cavalry are okay. Yeah.
Got some good Dreadnought supports there.
The thing is, when you get +1 to hit as well in combat, that just massively increases the ability for you to do damage.
Double exploding 6s in combat.
Yeah, if you go successes, yeah, it's really nasty.
Okay, so then army rules.
Okay, army rules. I think this was a 3. As I said, heroic intervention, great. +1 to hit on the charge, fantastic. Exploding 6s in combat from assault doctrine onwards. Also great. Their data sheets, Wolfen, are fantastic.
Yeah.
They've got some fantastic characters as well. Their psychic powers are great. There's a fight last in there, and you can put people into assault doctrine. I think their army rules are overall pretty good.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, brilliant. So moving on to the next one, we're going to start really rattling through these now. You kind of get the effect. We've got the Dark Angels, and in particular, we were kind of thinking like a Jack Downing, VT Jacks, Raven Wing style list where he won a GT with that.
He did.
It's a huge amount of bikes, land speeders, Samael, just doing the work. And it's you played against it, I played against it. It's hellish.
It's pretty nasty.
It's hot.
It is hot.
And it gets hot.
Yeah.
Really, really hot. So, yeah. Where are we thinking with the Dark Angels in terms of their primary scoring potential?
So, primary scoring potential, we've got a 3.
Yep.
You
Fast.
know, they're fast, exactly. You've got that OBSEC bikes in there.
Jinx.
You've got Jinx.
Durable fast units.
Very fast. There's that stratagem to fall back after you've fought somewhere.
Yeah.
Where you can jump on, steal objectives, or go back to your own ones. I think they're okay, yeah.
Yeah. Secondary play.
Secondaries, a 3.
3. Yeah.
3. Death on the Wind.
Guaranteed.
You're running that Raven Wing build. Death on the Wing is almost a flat 15.
Yeah.
But they can't really build into anything psychic. Because they're so bike heavy, they can't really do some of the action ones. So you might be relying on taking a few of the other guys in there. Engage those, fantastic for them.
Behind enemy lines.
Behind enemy lines. You've got those speeders. They can get you anywhere you want to get.
Yeah.
So, yeah, secondary plays. Okay.
Yeah, it could be better. Like we said, if they had some psycho support in there, that really starts to shape that quite nicely. I
think shock tactics helps them a lot, actually.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, nice. Okay, then damage output.
This one is a 4.
Yeah.
Quite high for Space Marines.
It does sting when you get hit by these guns, though.
But if you've got a unit of Black Knights firing 18 plasma shots...
With weapons of the Dark Age for +1 damage.
Flat damage 3.
Yeah.
Rerolling hits, that hurts, I tell you.
You know those possessed models you got?
Yeah.
You can pick them right up.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight up.
Right. Yeah.
You put them back in your train.
Yeah. And then all of the thunder strikes and stuff, great anti-vehicle stuff in there.
Yeah.
They really good damage output from these guys.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Army rules.
Army rules. This, unfortunately, is a 2.
Yeah.
They get their special thing in the Devastator Doctrine.
Like plus
Raven
3
Wing.
inches.
Yeah, plus 3 inches of movement. You get it once
Yeah.
during the game. That's not great.
Yeah.
The rest of what they get, well, the Invan's nice for their strats.
+1 to hit if you stand still.
+1 if you stand still. It doesn't really work on the Raven Wing.
No.
Um,
And you can't take any, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I don't think you can take any, like, custom chapters.
there are no.
You can't take any. It's just
No.
this is what you're going to take and this is what you're going to have.
Yeah.
And you can't take anything else. Otherwise, if you could, that would start looking a bit
Yeah.
spicy, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, so that's Dark Angels. All right, not a bad score there for
Not
the
bad.
Dangles. Right. Now, only an idiot would play this faction.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So, all you do is you just charge and hit stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's all you need to do, and then you win the game.
Any idiot can play this faction.
And just move 12 inches, charge something, and roll a bunch of dice.
Well, it's, that's why Carl Grundy's starting to play them.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
any idiot can play this faction, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then. So, moving on to my favourite, the one, the only, the Blood Angels.
Yeah, here they are.
Their ability to play the primary mission. What are we
3.
giving it? What? Okay, a 3.
Yeah.
Why-
It's not especially good, is it?
Why is that not a 5?
Sorry. Quick, before I get sacked.
Yeah,
It's a 5. No.
yeah. It's a 3.
Sorry, Steve. It's a 3.
Okay.
What are you holding your objectives with?
Tactical Marines
Tactical Marines.
and Cursors.
You can afford to do it because you've got such forward pressure,
Yeah.
but realistically, your primary game is wipe them off an objective, or you don't really take the objective off them.
Yeah, and if you're stood on an objective out in the open, they die.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're good at wiping stuff on objectives, which is why they've got a 3.
Yeah.
But they're not any more survivable than like a Terminator.
Yeah. I think if terrain's lacking, it's probably a 1.
Yes.
They can
Yeah,
take
quite
you
possibly.
off it, but they're not going to be keeping it.
No.
Okay, secondary play. What have you given it?
All right. Secondaries, we have. Where are we? A 4. That's not a 4. That's a 1.
That's a 1.
Where is my 4?
It's there.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
A 4.
Yeah.
I just don't like Blood Angels, you see.
Yeah, I know.
I think they should be a 1.
Yeah.
Right. Your secondaries are good, aren't they?
Yeah, so you got to build one way or another.
Yeah.
So I really build for killing units of Death Company,
Mm-hmm.
but you've got to look at the matchup and go, can I even get a kill? Because if there's a chance you bounce,
That's
like
true.
you don't score.
Yeah.
And that is a big fat, well, you'll lose all your Death Company, you'll score 4 points depending on how many units you've got.
Yeah. That's true.
So you have to be very strategic with it, but when it goes off well.
Mm-hmm.
The being in your opponent's deployment zone, oh, that's beautiful. Only against slow armies.
Yes.
Against anything that can redeploy or, even like custodes or bikes can just get into your lines and they're really hard to shift when they're there. It's a really bad one. But then you've got behind enemy lines to kind of take instead. So I would agree, very strong,
Mm-hmm.
but you've got to build for it.
Yeah.
And there's times when there's some missions you're like, I got no good option here.
And you don't really give them up either.
No.
That's the other good thing about Blood Angels.
You do give up a lot of no prisoners.
Yeah.
In my particular build, just because I run so much infantry. And assassinate.
Assassinate, that is true. You do give up assassinate.
Because I've got one decent stratagem. It's called, basically, here's 3 assassination points for you. In the name of angel sacrifice. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what that does. But anyway, I would agree. Okay, cool. Army rules.
Rules.
No, sorry, damage output first. I always
Damage
get it wrong.
output. Okay. It's a 4.
Mm-hmm.
As we said, they're absolutely brutal
Yeah.
when they get there.
When they get there.
Absolutely brutal, especially if it's turn 3 or onwards. So many attacks, AP 4,
Thunderhammers, Sanguinary Guard,
2 damage.
all good stuff.
They kill things.
They absolutely do.
Yeah.
They slap.
But I can't give them a 5 because they only do it in one phase.
And they've got to get there.
And they've got to get there.
They do have to get there. All right, army rules. What have you given them?
Army rules wise, we have a cheeky 3.
Okay.
They're good. But they only really take place from turn 3 onwards.
Yeah, and you got one good stratagem.
Yeah.
Maybe Fall on Fury, I'll say 2 good stratagems.
Yeah, Fall on Fury is very good. It's very scary.
Only if you go first.
This is true.
Yeah, so it's only going to work in 50% of the games.
Yeah.
If you go, I don't, so
Yeah.
it's an option for some people, I hear. What else?
What are the good strats you got? You can go back in the sky and come back down.
Yeah, I don't really do that one.
No,
Warlord traits are okay. Like, there's no fight last. There's no fight on death. There's none of those cool tricks that some of those, even like extra consolidations and pile-ins and hitting you, falling back, advancing, charging. There's none of that. The best I've got is a relic that gives me +2 move.
Yeah, that is true.
So but +1 to wound though.
Yeah, very good.
And +1 attack at turn 3 and 4 and 5 is very strong.
Yeah,
So I'd say I would agree with the 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Look, Blood Angel players, I know you're hearing me there.
Right. I've got a question for chat.
Go on.
Let me know what your favourite jump pack unit is in the game.
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there are. Like, even things like Scourges.
Yeah.
Jump pack.
Let me know your favourite jump pack unit. Don't tell me anything Tau, because
Yeah.
that's a jet pack, not a jump pack.
And nobody cares about Tau anyway.
And exactly.
Kyle.
Vespid count though, if you're a fan of the old Vespid. Yeah, favourite jump pack unit. Let me know.
Yeah. Steve cheekily up in the BA score. Did I? I didn't mean to, by the way. I didn't. If I accidentally pressed some buttons, apologies about that. Okay, cool. So where are we?
Who's next?
Who's next? It's
The All Black Templars.
I actually think this is my favourite Space Marine chapter. Yeah, it really is. They look amazing. I love Sigismund. What an absolute beast.
Yeah.
But let's see how they're doing on this score. So primary play, what have you given it?
3.
Okay, big Primaris squads.
Big Primaris squads.
Yeah.
Quite hard to shift.
Yeah.
But their pushing power or denying power isn't fantastic.
Yep.
But they can certainly hold objectives.
They can do that. Okay, yeah. No, I like it. They got like the devout push, the ability to
move towards objectives. Yeah.
play some shenanigans there.
Yeah.
Okay, then their secondary play.
Secondary play, it's a 3.
I think you've actually been
Yeah, it's quite generous. Isn't
quite generous there.
it? It is actually quite generous.
Because you can't even take a Psyker.
No, that's true.
I'm actually going to push that to a 2, but then that would affect my graphic I made for the end. So it's going to stay a 3, but I think it's a 2.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, I think you've been over generous there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But they can kill a character, and that's going to get you some points.
Yeah.
On their, like, bathe the blade.
Great. Yeah.
They
Bathe your blade.
Yeah, bathe it.
Bathe your blade.
Cool. So, yeah, I think, it is going to be a 3, but I think a 2. Right, damage output, the Black Templars.
Damage output, it's a 2. Again, they're just Space Marines. Their damage output is literally just the same as Space Marines.
Yeah. I know you get your weapons for free now, don't you? Like in your big squads.
Yeah.
But it's like one dude with a weapon.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's
and then
not,
some chainsaws.
it's not enough.
It's not like Death Company with Thunderhammers.
No, exactly. And they're yeah. Yeah, it's
I
not
suppose
great.
the biggest unit you could take is probably Assault Centurions for
yeah,
flat
it's the most
damage.
dangerous one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But they got to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What's your transport? How do you get your Blood Angel Centurions across the board, Steve?
right leg, left leg, move them like this, and then the trick is when someone kills you,
Yes.
you put a model within 2 inches. But obviously the base is like 1.5 inches. Nearly, it's basically 2 inches.
Yeah.
So you gain every time somebody kills you. You gain 4 inches of movement.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and remember I get +1 to my advance rolls, so I do get another inch, and every inch counts.
Yes.
So I'm told. Now, army rules. What have you given
Army
it?
rules.
They ignore mortal wounds on a
5.
5.
That's okay.
Yeah. What else do
Reroll
they get?
charges.
Right. Cool. Got a CB for that. What are you giving it?
It's a 1.
Somebody had to have a 1, and Black Templars got it.
Yeah. It's just a bit meh, isn't it?
It
They've
is.
got the vowels. Unfortunately, the times have changed, and having a 5-up inman on a Space Marine with a 3-up save is like just Armor of Contempt. But
Yeah.
it's an invulnerable save. It really doesn't make enough difference.
It's a mortal wound against mortals, and not invuns.
Oh, they've got the vowels, remember? So if
Oh,
you're all Black
yes.
Templars, you've got the vowels.
The vowels.
And one of
yeah.
the vowels is a 5-up invuln, but you can't have light cover
Yeah.
or dense cover. I'm just like, what's the point? You got Armor of Contempt. You don't need the 5-up invuln. Just take the light cover. It's better.
Yeah.
And they've got other vowels as well, but they're again lackluster.
Yeah.
So
We've got some people coming in with their favourite jump pack unit. We've got Boss Zagstruck is mine. Yeah, Warp Talon, Swooping Hawks. We've got Shrike, yeah.
Shrike is
Chaplain
awesome.
with jump pack. Ginger Steve, come on, mate. Live a little bit. At least say Astrath or somebody cool. You've got Zephyrin from Matt Laura. Carl Grundy said something, but we don't need to comment on what he said.
No, nobody cares about him.
No. Andy Downs has been a member for 14 months. Thank you, Andy, for your support as always. Really means a huge amount to us. Love the judge cards. Keep the Jake banter. Yeah, love it. Awesome. Right, okay. Somebody's keeping track of all the scores. That's a good effort.
Dedicated. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moonlighter. That's some numbers. You're pumping them out. Okay, cool. Anyway, let's move on. So that was Black Templars done.
Yep.
Honestly, I've got like so many screens I've got to press just to get this.
He has. I really like Black Templars as well.
Yeah.
It's just such a shame that their rules are just a little bit subpar.
Yeah. Now here's a faction you and I have both played quite a lot over the years.
Okay.
It's Deathwatch.
Oh.
So Deathwatch primary score.
I like the Deathwatch.
Yeah, what have you given them for their? Well, you are, the number one player in the UK for Deathwatch, apparently.
5.
Put that straight back down. Pick up the real one. Come on, let's not be silly now. People have come here for a live show, and you're,
3. I think that's what I gave him.
You gave him a 4, actually.
A 4, sorry, a 4.
Jesus
right.
Christ.
So, to justify this, the Deathwatch was specifically talking about the Army of Renown, which I firmly believe is the best way to play them.
Yeah.
And hopefully have managed to prove that on the tournament circuit. The entire army's OBSEC. They're quite fast as well.
Yeah.
If you play them right, you got a bike, a jump pack dude in there. They're
do
fast.
You remember when they first came out? I had to really try and tempt you to even play it, didn't I?
You did.
You were like, nah.
You did. I was like, I'm
not seeing it.
I have to take just Kill Team. I want to take my Hellblaster squad.
Yeah.
And my Inceptors and my Ironclad Dreadnought. And then you try it out. I think your Kill Teams will work well in it. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it out.
Yeah.
Boom.
I think you did it to prove me wrong and then realised I might be right.
Yeah.
Often happens.
Yeah.
A bit like Centurions and me and your suggestion. Secondaries, what have you given it?
Secondaries, I think I've given it a 3.
You have.
They're okay. They've got a fantastic one against aliens. Anything Xenos, you just get a point for units you kill.
Yeah.
Which is amazing in a bit over 50% of the... Actually, less than 50%, but it's still good. They've got one to kill battlefield rolls. That's not bad. And they benefit a lot from shock tactics being more points now. Yeah. Because there's so many OBSEC models that they are going to take an objective off you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, quite good on that front.
Okay, very nice. Damage output.
Damage output is a 3.
It's a 3, yep.
Remember, normal Space Marines we've given a 2. These guys, you can pack Thunderhammers. Boy, this kill team sure can pack so many Thunderhammers. Yeah. You get 15 Thunderhammer attacks. And, of course, you've got the auto wound on hits. Unfortunately, it's mostly AP 0. Yeah. So against certain targets, it's not that good. But the damage, their killing power is pretty good.
Okay. Army rules.
Army rules. It's a 3 from me. Now, bear in mind, we're not considering player skill or anything in here. I think an experienced Deathwatch Army or an army can go quite far. Their army rules for this is basically they just take chapter traits. And if you can use them in the right order, then this probably goes up to a 4. Yeah. Because getting full back and charge on your stuff's great. But I think that's one thing to mention for all of these. We are giving these a very, we're assuming a certain level of player is going to be playing all of these factions. Yes. So we're assuming that, for example... We're assuming Jake's playing them all, right?
We are assuming the most handsome man in 40k is playing this army. We're not assuming a certain player is better than another here. No. We are literally as a tournament player myself, yes, I can do well with Blood Angels, and even in my hands, I'm still I wish it had a few more army rules or those certain things. Okay, so we are assuming, and you can look at this. So even if you're a beginner, this should still be relevant, right? Yes. Yeah. Anyway, Carl Grundy super chatted him £5. So get your Tau hatred out of your system now, because if you review the greater good incorrectly, my justice will be swift and deadly.
Can you hear that?
Is that the smallest violin?
No, I can hear someone running outside, actually. Yeah. I can hear the sound of a kilt.
Right, yeah.
Scraping along bare legs.
Yeah.
I think it's Kyle. He's coming.
Yeah. Anyway. We'll see how we get on with Tau. Next up, we've got the Grey Knights.
The Grey Knights. Okay. Grey Knights. Primary ability.
Yes, their primary scoring potential.
It's a 2.
A 2?
This is interesting because Grey Knights are seen as one of the... They had their moment.
They did.
But when you look at them now, their OBSEC, their objective secured, is limited to 5 Space Marines with no invulnerable save.
Yep.
With 2 wounds each. Their ability to hold objectives is quite low.
Mm-hmm.
They're reasonably easy to kill.
Yep. Unless you pack on, like... We're thinking, like, strikes and scepters and maybe some Dread Knights. If you were to go full-on Paladin spam...
Yeah.
Or Terminator spam, obviously that changes that slightly, but then obviously you're going to lack other factors like damage output or whatever.
Speed,
and speed. So again, yes, there are arguments for different types of builds. But yeah.
And then taking objectives is basically just interceptors.
Yeah.
And then they die.
Yeah.
So,
okay, secondaries.
Secondaries.
We probably need to speed up a little bit.
Sorry, it's a 3. Because they've got Purifying Rituals quite good.
Yeah, that's true.
They do their Psychic ones very well. They're fast enough to do R&D with their Deep Strikes.
They can come in from Deep Strike and score that way. That's actually really effective. Combining that with behind enemy lines is really good.
Yep, agreed.
Damage output.
So 3 again.
Yep.
It's not bad. It's definitely better than Space Marines.
Yep.
Combat, lots of damage too.
Yep.
But not quite the same level as Blood Angels.
Mortal wounds on 6s.
Mortal wounds on 6s.
Not to be sniffed at.
And some Psychic as well.
Yep. Army rules.
Army rules. 2.
Yeah. Strats are expensive.
Yeah, it's +1 to deny. That's like only good against certain people
that can cast.
Exactly.
+1 better. So +1 to cast is better.
It's kind of like it's all right. And then the individual subfactions don't have anything particularly special. They don't even have subfaction traits actually.
No, just a warlord trait relic in a power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with all of those. Okay, so all right then. Next up, your favourite. We're not talking about the Night Lords as the most competitive build here, Michael. We are talking about the one, the only, you guessed it, Alpha Legion.
Alpha Legion. They are just so good.
They are not what we're talking about. We're talking about Creations of Bile.
Yeah, Creations of Bile.
Yeah.
They're so good.
They are.
Primary play.
4.
Space Marines, big block of Terminators. Are you taking that off an objective?
Nope.
No.
Abaddon straight in the middle. Taking him off?
No.
Cool. Cheap cultists.
Chuck Warp Talons in to take people off their objectives. And if they try and kill you, you just kill them back.
Yes. So they take you off their objective, but you die.
You still remove them from it.
And then you also remove them too.
Cost them 2 units.
Yeah.
To hold an objective.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Secondaries.
It's a 4. Now, for CSM in general, I'd probably be looking at a 2 or a 3.
Yeah.
But Bile, their secondary that is specific to them is crazy good.
Yeah, what happens is you say you're playing Creations of Bile, and then you put the secondary and you just put 15 in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing against someone that has just vehicles. So just Knights, basically. If you're playing against Knights, you're not going to get the secondary.
Then you bring it down.
And then you just take bring it down, and it's that instead.
Yeah.
It's 2 for killing a unit. And 3 for killing a character, and they stack, and the cap is 5 per turn.
Yeah.
So you just get it in 3 turns.
Yeah.
Maxed it, and it's like, well, great.
Yeah.
Great, that's fair, isn't it?
Yeah. And then they can do psychic actions really well for Demon Princes. You've got the Tzeentch Sorcerer.
Yeah, you can do it.
He's amazing. Obviously doing psychic powers and actions. That's really clutch. Whereas like a Libby's like, I can do my psychic action, but...
Sorry, I ain't doing powers.
Sorry, guys, you want the 5 up.
I can't read too good.
No, Null Zone, I've forgotten that power because I'm too busy trying to psychic interrogate this guy. Tzeentch Sorcerer's like, don't you worry, have some of these powers, have some of those.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Oh, and by the way, I'll just psychic interrogate and have a CP.
Oh, yeah.
Cool, cheers, thanks. Right, anyway, moving on. So, damage output. Don't be silly, Michael. Don't be silly.
Sorry, that was for the person... That was for a combat army playing against them?
Yeah.
This is for... Yeah.
Abaddon.
Well, they basically get 2 turns, don't they?
Yes.
Bile.
Yeah, they get... If you get 1 combat phase, they always get 2.
Yeah. But as you say, Abaddon, extremely powerful, and of course goes across all of the Chaos Space Marine Legions. They just put in... they send an email over. They're like, Dear Abaddon, I'm having problems with some Space Marines in the area.
He's like, I'll be there Thursday at 10 o'clock. book me in. You got me for 15 minutes, but that's all I need. Yeah, cool. Because then I need to be over there for another 15 minutes.
He only needs 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway. And then you got Terminators.
Yes.
And then did we talk about Possessed?
Yeah, Possessed. Fantastic. And, of course, you've got that... I bought one the other day, actually. It was on sale. There was actually loads of them.
We don't need to know about that cream, Michael.
I was talking about the Black Rune of Damnation.
Everyone's got one of those.
Everyone has one.
Yeah, the Black Rune.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, damage output 5. Army rules.
That's one of the best traits in the game, isn't it?
Yeah, but on top of that, you could also have advance in charge for a CP. How do you like those apples?
Well, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Yeah.
It cuts out 50% of the field.
Yeah.
Because they want to do combat and they can't.
Yeah.
And if you've got a balanced army, well, 50% of it is useless in this matchup. Not to be too blunt, but fight on death, extremely powerful on an army like this.
Yeah. What you can do, though, is you could shoot it.
You could shoot it.
But it's always nice to shoot a Terminator brick with -1 to wound. You can't hit them on a 1 to 3 with a 5+ feel no pain.
I quite like it when they bring one back the turn after as well.
That's also quite good.
After it's fought on death.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
And if it's toughness 5 with -1 to wound, that just makes that a little bit easier to shift in the shooting phase before you try and tackle it in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on. So we've got Ian James has been a member for 8 months. All hail our spiky lords. Welcome, Jake, for being a captain. You absolute legend. The Glacial Geek is here. The Glacial Geek is like my hobby hero. Yeah, I love Big Phil. Phil is heading to the GW Open this weekend with them. Excited to see if you're right. Glacial Geek, if you don't win every game with those creations of battle, mate, then we need to have a chat. Okay?
Yeah.
Big chat.
Big chat.
Yeah. Glacial Geek came to the LVO workshop, last year.
Yeah, I remember.
You what ledge? Right. So, Glacial Geek, wish you the best of luck with your games, mate, at the GW Open. Keep
I wasn't
me posted.
there, but I remember how you were talking about how great it was.
He was legend, yeah. And if you don't follow the Glacial Geek, go and hit subscribe on his channel because he's just brilliant.
He is.
Just an absolute legend. Okay, next up, Death Guard.
Death Guard.
Go on, Em, what are you giving him?
It's a 3.
Okay.
For their primary ability.
Yeah.
They are slow.
But they're durable.
They're durable, and there's a lot of obsec.
Yep, Terminators, Death Shroud, like literally every unit's pretty much obsec.
Yep, slow, obsec, very hard to kill.
Yeah. Cool. Like it. Secondary.
Secondaries, I think I gave them a 3.
You did.
Yeah, they've got some good secondaries in there.
Yeah.
One for making people run away and just hurting people with plague weapons, which, surprise, the entire army has.
Yeah.
That's quite good. And then being in different areas of the table is quite good as well. And then, you've got doing actions on objectives for lots of points.
Sorry, it's just...
That's where I was eating that cake earlier.
Yeah. Right, here we go. I need to use the mouse because my arm is hurting.
All right.
Okay, next up, we've got damage output.
Okay. It's a 1.
Yeah.
Look, yes, they kill things in combat.
But they don't get there quick enough.
They don't get there very quickly.
No.
People don't want to charge them anyway.
No.
That guy that turns off charges. But, against certain targets, there's literally nothing they can do in combat.
No.
And their shooting, I don't think, is particularly
No,
amazing either. After the Plague Burst crawlers,
you can have a combi weapon.
Nerf, they didn't really,
Okay, army rules.
Army rules. It's a 2.
It's 2.
Contagion range is cool, but -1 toughness when you're right next to them.
Yeah.
When they're so slow, just for me, it doesn't really do a huge amount.
You do get to ignore difficult ground.
You do get to ignore difficult ground. That is very true.
They're just really annoying to kill.
Yeah, they are.
Like, they just stat check some armies.
Yeah.
So if your army's damage 2, actually their army rule is probably a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
If you don't have AP3, if you're like AP2 and damage 2, then your rules are rubbish because they'll fight you, especially if you're a Harlequin army in particular. Yeah, you just get wrecked. So, yeah. Okay, cool. So, next up, we've got...
Thousand Suns.
Look at this guy. Look at that guy. Look at that picture. That is awesome. And he's just there like... But in reality, it just goes...
It's 3 shots.
Yes,
It's just like
not great, is it really? It looks a lot more menacing than it actually is, I think. Looks so good.
well, yeah,
Anyway, what have you given it for its primary scoring?
3.
A 3.
A 3, yeah. Similar to Death Guard, durable Terminators.
Yeah.
All the Terminators are obsec, and it can move around the board, but it doesn't have especially good pressure, like taking objectives off people. It's not particularly good at.
Yeah.
And short of the Terminators, actually holding on to objectives isn't hugely amazing either.
Yeah. Okay, secondaries.
Secondaries, I think I've gone for a... Is it
2.
A 2. That's a 3.
That's a 3. That's the wrong number,
A
Michael.
2.
Yeah.
Their Psychic's great because they can make it undeniable
They can?
for basically free. But their other options aren't great.
No.
If you've got a Psyker, then yes, they can do Magnus, like Wrath of Magnus, which Magnus can't actually score. Anyway, Wrath of Magnus, where they have to do more casts of blessings, etc. But if you don't have a Psyker against you, you don't get it.
Yeah.
So 2, their other secondaries are
And obviously they then
great.
give up a Bore the Witch as well.
They give up a Bore the Witch. They usually give up no prisoners as well if you're running all those Terminators. So yeah, sadly.
Okay, damage output.
Damage output. It's a 2.
Yeah.
Against Armor of Contempt, AP2 really lost a lot of its fight.
Yeah.
In combat, they just don't really hit that hard. A lot of their damage comes in the Psychic phase, which is why they've still got a 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, and of course, mortal wounds are so powerful that they just go straight through anything. So
Yeah.
that's why I've given them a 2.
Army rules.
Yeah, army rules. We have a 3.
Yeah, I think the ritual points are really strong.
I agree.
And I think there's some of the different like cabals you can take.
Yeah.
Some really...
Yeah, teleporting around the place is really good.
Yeah.
Things like the Umbralific Crystal for the teleport is really strong as well. And getting +1 to cast on your entire army is so much better than getting like something like +1 to deny.
Yeah.
+1 to cast is permanent all the time, and yeah, it really helps.
Jamie, Schoolcrafters in the chat, he said, appreciate you guys and all the help I've gotten as a player by being a Silver Academy member. The way you've taught how to play this complex game is legendary. Thank you so much. It's great to hear about your successes with the Academy. And the Academy will be open for enrollment very, very soon. So make sure you join the waiting list. And the link is below in the description. So if you are thinking about joining the Academy and becoming a student with us over a 16-week intense course to help you absolutely master the game and feel really confident with the rules and actually how to structure, your deployment, each of your turns, what you need to be looking out for. Yeah. Now, we don't teach you like what here's the best list, this is how you run it. What we teach you is fundamentally game mechanics.
Yes.
And all the strategy around playing the mission so you can get the most out of whatever army that you've taken. We're going to help you really maximize that at the table.
We're not just reading the core rulebook out loud.
No.
We're actually, this is examples on the table and how things interact.
Yeah, little top tips, little those, big brain plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. And talking about big brain plays, it's actually going to be a new piece of members content we're going to do every single week. When myself and Michael at tournaments, any sort of moment in the game where we feel like this was like a technique we used that really changed the game, we're going to be showing you exactly how we did that, and you can get that just by becoming a member.
Yeah, I'll show you how I rolled a couple of 6s.
Yep.
And that changed the game.
Okay, we'll probably do a little bit more than that.
Probably, yeah.
Michael, sales, yeah? Sales,
sorry,
let's talk about it, yeah?
Yes. No, to be fair, though, you did have some epic moments, and I've got a few that I'm really looking forward to sharing.
Yeah.
With like examples on the table, so
it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we've got
Chaos Demons.
Yeah. Chaos Demons.
Right.
Primary score
2.
Okay.
They just don't stay alive. Yes, greater demons can hold objectives, but they're not objectives secured. They only count as one model. If you've got 10 bloodletters on an objective and you charge them, they only have a 5-up unmodifiable save.
Yeah.
They're going to die. There's no way to boost objectives secured. So just 2.
Yeah. No. It's just, and they're quite expensive, like the basic troops,
expensive,
aren't they?
yeah.
Okay, secondary scores.
Secondaries, it's a 3.
Okay.
War rituals, fantastic. Or ritual or interrogation, fantastic. You can take the Tzeentch guys, which have +1 to cast, and you can give them +1 to cast as well.
Yeah.
The Chaos Demon secondary for being in quarters gives you really good score for the points.
Yeah.
So I think they've got good options.
Okay, nice. Damage output.
So
we went back and forth on this.
We went back and forth, but as it stands, it's a 5. I've got one word.
Yep.
Flamers.
I've got a word.
Yeah.
Be'lakor.
Flamers.
Be'lakor and a Greater Demon.
Greater Demons.
Of Khorne. He does damage.
He certainly does damage.
And do you know what he also stops?
Yeah.
You ignoring said damage.
Yes.
He's like, here's my damage, and you're going to eat every single little piece of it.
Yes.
That's exactly what he does.
Yeah.
So I think, there are those characters that do a huge amount of damage, but it's just kind of packed into. I mean, we've seen what, like, a unit of Bloodletters can do in combat, and they do actually hit hard.
You give them extra attack, and rerolls, and they're doing work. But my God, Flamers are absolutely
Stupid.
brutal.
They are, yeah. Okay, army rules.
Army rules, I believe we've given these a
3.
3.
Yeah, I feel like the Demon Codex is just missing a couple of things.
Yeah.
And I think it would then be a great codex.
Yes.
Like, for example, there's no benefit for being all Slaanesh.
Not really. Beyond the Warp Storm stuff, which isn't
but
amazing.
Yeah, but you don't get... Like, I want, like,
a permanent buff.
Yeah, like a Super Doctrine equivalent.
Yeah.
They don't have that.
No.
And I think that's what it's missing a little bit.
For me, also...
The Warlord traits and relics?
Warlord traits, you can't get a second Warlord trait.
Yeah.
Which is crazy in a 9th ed book. And the Warp Storm effects, you got to roll 8 dice, and on 4s you get a point.
Yeah.
I'm not relying my entire strategy around that.
No, I certainly wouldn't.
And then the Deep Strike buff is great, but some of your stuff does actually have to stay on the board to score points. So, the unmodifiable saves is great. Some of the Deep Strike stuff is amazing as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. Okay, cool. So, that's Demons. So we're really sort of peddling through now quite well. Who painted that monstrosity? That is awful.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of mine.
Yeah.
That's a bit rude.
No, it's actually a beautifully painted model. Chaos Knights.
Yeah.
Primary scoring potential, Michael.
Is a 4.
Is a 4.
It's a 4. I mean, they're all OBSEC.
Yeah.
They're all little OBSEC Knights. However, they don't quite have the staying power that something like Imperial Knights had, which obviously I'm going to directly compare them because they're both pretty much the same army, but with different special rules. Good at taking objectives. They've got turn 4. They can turn off OBSEC as well. Mm-hmm. So I think they've got good primary mission play.
Yeah. We've just had a Tinder pop up in the chat as soon as I'd mentioned Slaanesh, apparently.
Oh, right.
I'm actually reading the book Fulgrim at the minute, and it's actually quite hot and spicy at tarts.
Oh, right.
It parts, not tarts. I did say tarts, but I didn't mean to say parts.
You meant the cake, obviously.
Yeah. It's very steamy in some elements. Anyway, cool. So what we've got next is... Chaos Knights.
Yes.
Secondaries.
Secondaries.
I was thinking about Slaanesh.
Now, I'm pretty sure I gave these a 3. Just double check that. Yes, a 3. So they have Ruthless Tyranny, which is just 3 points for the whole game. But beyond that, they don't have many options. Grind them down's quite good. They can do a psychic one. I think the fact that they have a psychic option is the reason this is not a 2.
Right.
Because you can get 2 characters in the army that are psychers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Michael said, did they do GSC? Well, I hope they didn't do the GSC. Or are they referring to us?
I think they might be talking about us.
What? Okay.
Otherwise, there's going to be a bit more GSC.
Anyway, if you're new to the channel and you just found us, I'm Stephen. This is Mike.
Yes.
So, hello. Welcome. Thank you so much. We haven't got to GSC yet.
No.
Yet,
not yet. They're hiding in the shadows.
They are lurking. Anyway, damage output, the Chaos Knights.
Damage output, it's a 4. It's pretty much the same damage output as Imperial Knights. But you've got the Helverins, but the thing is you've got those chain cannons. The Stalker chain cannons are really, really good on the little knights. Yeah. And you could spam them. You could have 12 guys with 72 shots.
72 shots a turn sounds good to me.
Yeah, that would be 144 shots. Anyway, maths. But you could have a lot of shots from those little guys. And I think that chain cannon really, really helps them up their damage.
Army rules.
Army rules. So 3.
Can you take a dread test?
Yeah. Steve's not a fan of the dread test thing.
Can you take a dread test before you shoot me? Oh, can you take a dread test before you charge me? What's your leadership? -1. Shut up. I'm just shooting you.
Oh, that was good. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
What's the leadership? Yeah, I mean, if you don't care about leadership, or you don't have very low leadership, then it doesn't
10.
matter.
All right, it's 10.
Frankly, the one where it's halves your charges and stuff, if you just be 2 inches away. It doesn't even matter then, does it?
I'll still fail it.
Yeah,
I'll find a way.
You'll still fail it.
I will find a way.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, I like it. It's good scores there from the big boys.
Mhm.
Okay, here's the army of Jake. The Votann. Now, obviously, this is a bit of a hot topic at the minute. You put that straight back down.
So I don't know what I think that was just.
Yeah, we're not talking about height here, Michael. All right. They would definitely get a 1 for their height. So primary score potential. Now, we are considering.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what the hottest spiciest list is yet.
No.
Like we literally don't know. I think 18 bikes.
Yeah, the bikes are very good.
I think 18 bikes as the Greater Uthran League,
Yes.
where they basically count as double obsec,
Yeah.
is what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
With old big boy who can turn a dice to a 6 and stuff, maybe
Yeah.
next to a land fortress, that's going to pack out some heat. So I think that's kind of the way I'm thinking about the army right now. So that's what we're going to go with.
Yeah.
I'm personally going to be playing a combat army
Yes.
for Votann. So then my numbers would look a little bit different, but assume 18 bikes.
Yes. And
Okay.
I'm going to spend my time putting the dwarves back in the ground.
Yeah.
Where they belong.
So what we're going to give them for their primary score potential
It's a 3.
is a 3. You could argue there could be a 4.
Potentially.
Just because of the pre-game move, the speed, the bikes are actually quite
the bikes
durable.
are very good.
But then as soon as they're dead, your army's really slow
Yeah.
and really lacking. So I think that's why we're giving it a 3.
I think so. The Hernkin warriors are quite good at staying on objectives, especially when you've got the medic in there and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you say, the bikes are probably the real key to the primary and denying it in this game.
Yeah. Secondaries.
Secondaries,
I've put their score in already.
but that says 0, Steve.
Yeah, somebody had to get it.
Somebody had to get 0. You didn't tell me that. Did we go for 1?
Oh, I
Did we
don't
go
know.
for 2? I think we went for 2.
You went for 2. I think you've been overly generous there.
Do you think so? I think their ancestors... Like, 1 is if you don't really have anything.
Yeah.
But 2, the ancestors are watching is a good one.
Just got to kill stuff.
You just got to kill stuff
With
with
the
tokens
judgment.
on it,
Yeah.
which is quite easy to do.
Mm.
And then the controlling something at the end of the game. I think you could play that well.
With 18 bikes.
With 18 bikes.
Provided
like-
you didn't lose them earlier,
Exactly.
which you probably did. But
And
anyway.
then you've got the option for psychic, which means you clearly have choices. Yeah, you might only have 1 Grimnir.
I don't think you take 1 Grim there and put everything on the psychic action.
Well, you could take 2.
But then you're not taking a champ. Then you're an idiot.
Yes, you're right.
So
You're right.
There we have it.
Sorry, let me... Yeah.
yeah, no, we'll stick it 2. You make some fair points. Damage output.
Damage output. 4.
Yeah.
Now, yes, they've been nerfed.
Yeah, they've been
Yes,
nerfed.
there's a few bits that are more expensive.
Yeah.
There was a reason for that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise this would be a 5. Or
Yeah.
possibly even a 6, 7, or 8.
Mm.
But they're still damaging. They have a lot of firepower.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think a 4 is probably fair.
Yeah, interested to hear what you guys think in the chat about what you think is going to be the most competitive Votann build. Matt Laura saying infantry warrior spam. I mean, they are good for 12 points a model.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the weapon upgrades you can put on there.
Yep. Taking
Very
them as
strong.
The Ynnari regulates, where they get +1 toughness.
Yeah,
Around.
yeah, it's pretty good.
T5, yeah, it's pretty good.
T5 dudes, yeah. Yeah.
Ian James says, if Votann bikes have obsec, so should Custodes. Get that out of here.
Get out.
Ian, get that out of here.
Get out. Yeah. So damage output 4. Yeah, I
Mhm.
agree with you. I mean, you've got the
Yep.
extra Cater hammer for a start.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got Magna Rail rifles, beams. You've got loads of different, ways of dealing damage, which is
Yep.
cool. Army rules. What are we saying?
So army rules 4.
Agree.
Now there is an argument for 3 because of the nerfs, but
There's also an argument for 5.
The whole fact that you can shoot with a strength anything weapon and just wound something on a 4
No, I think
is so powerful.
I don't think there's an argument for putting their rules on a 3.
You don't? Okay.
No, I think when you look at all the different custom leagues, they're all strong.
Yeah.
In their own unique right.
Yeah.
Each one feels like it's got a theme to it.
Yeah.
It's not like, let me give you an example.
Okay.
Samhain Eldar, right?
Yes.
Do you know what they can do?
What?
They can reroll charges. Guess what you don't want to be doing with your Samhain really cool themed red falcons, fire prisms, and wind riders, you don't want to be re-rolling your charge rolls.
This is very true.
Because you ain't charging. No. If they'd fall back and shoot, it would have been better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Very true.
Like
very true.
Everything leans into with this with the Votann.
Everything can benefit from it.
Yeah, like the combat one's really combat-y.
Yeah.
You got the Trixie one with the OBSEC and stuff in. Oh, that's really cool. And
That's
extra
true.
CPs.
That's true.
Each one feels unique.
And their stratagems are fantastic.
Stratagems are great.
Yeah.
Every single unit has cool rules. Like
that's true.
It has cool
That's
abilities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Sagittar. Cool. You can
Yeah.
combat squad your units.
Great.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I could say
Fair enough.
I would actually be arguing they're a 5 on
quite,
rules.
You make a very good point.
I know there's a lot of salty people about the whole 6s thing.
Yeah, but
Look, get over it.
it's just a 6,
Just
isn't
move on. Just move on.
it? Yeah.
They're still great. Okay, cool. So here we go. Next up,
Mm-hmm.
we've got the Craftworld.
Craftworlds.
Right.
Okay.
Here we go. Now, your probably traditional list is Hail of Doom or Beltan, probably the
Yeah.
most competitive.
Yeah, probably.
Until you see what I'm taking to my next event, then it's going to be pretty spice. Currently, I've got a list at 2,500 points.
Okay.
That's why it's strong right now.
That's pretty strong, actually. If you're playing 2,500 points, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't decide what to cut, so I might just keep it.
It's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Well, just put the 2,000 point list in and then sneak the other stuff on in
Yeah,
after.
I like it. People have done that before. Right, Craftworld, playing mission play.
Is a 2.
Yeah, not great, is it?
The thing is, you put something on an objective,
And it
but what
dies.
in the Eldar book survives on an objective
Yeah.
in the open?
Yeah.
And then, yes, you can deny objectives by taking them off by using a unit of Banshees or something.
Yeah.
But that's about it, really. And then they die.
Yeah.
So they're primary...
The best you've got is a Phoenix Lord.
Yeah. They're very
Or-
fast,
Or the Sunstorm Bike.
but they do die pretty easy.
Yeah, on this. Remember, it is a scale here, people.
Yeah.
You know, of the best to the worst, and they are a little bit on that lower scale. Okay, cool. Secondaries.
Secondaries, we have a 3.
Yep. R&D really easily.
Yeah, R&D really easily. Or
Psychic
scout the enemy.
actions.
Yeah,
Yep.
psychic actions. You've got them in the bag.
But then that's about it. Behind enemy lines
Yeah.
or engage is okay.
Yeah, Wrath of Cain's not amazing.
No, you've got to
Don't really
really
have enough
build for that
aspects.
heavily. Yeah.
And then they've got the holding and objective one is okay as well.
Yeah.
If you've got a gate, but yeah, I agree. Engage or behind enemy lines is probably your third pick.
Yeah. So I think they're just playing the book ones well.
Yeah,
Okay. Damage output.
it's a 4,
Mm.
mainly because of the D cannon.
The D.
The D cannon really shows you the meaning.
You know.
Do you know what the D stands for in D cannon?
Oh, I know. I got hit with it the other day. Yeah. Nasty. Anyway. So D cannons.
D cannons are good.
They're real good.
We already know that Halo Doom's good.
Banshees with the old twin mirror swords.
Very
She's
good.
good.
Very good.
Striking Scorpion Man, just wounds. He's good.
Yeah.
Bit of burning heat on your fire dragons. They pump it.
Yeah.
They really turn up the heat a little bit, don't they?
Certainly pump it.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, there we go. Hot. Very hot. Then damage army rules.
It's a 4 again. Fate dice can go. I don't like them.
But then they would
Get
be
'em out
like
there.
a 2 if they didn't have fate dice.
That's fine.
We gotta have something, Michael.
No.
Anyway, so yeah, fate dice, brilliant mechanic. Start of the battle round, you roll some dice, and depending on what you roll,
Yeah.
you can then manipulate dice to 6s.
And you can
And that's
re-roll
so-
some with the Farseer.
So powerful.
It's very, very strong.
Yeah. Because if you're like me, you've never seen a 6, so it's nice to just be able to turn them to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so what have we got here? Right, here we go.
Yep.
Just checking the time there. We've got next. So Craftworld, pretty decent score there.
Yeah, they're all right. They're doing all right.
Yeah, I think that's pretty decent. Okay, cool. So Ynnari. Now, this Ynnari model right here that is covering up my face is actually the brand new Vanguard Tactics Incarn.
Wow, they're beautiful.
This has been painted by the one and only C Studios, and we should be arriving any day. So C Studios is one of our channel sponsors. Thank you so much. So if you're in the mood for either a custom model, they do an incredible custom service. Maybe you want a beautifully painted HQ.
Yeah.
Or maybe you want to get your entire army done. They've got Warrior Workshop. So if you want like a bit more battle ready standard, get your Warrior Workshop in. Then maybe a really nice one from Siege, all the same company, and they've also released their merchandise as well. So anyway, that is our new Incarn. Can't wait to get him on the channel.
Yeah, he looks beautiful.
Yeah, and Ben Jones absolutely smashed me with his Ynnari the other day.
And me.
So what are we giving their ability to score the primary?
3.
Okay. Why 3? Why higher than Craftworld?
Because they have access to Harlequins.
And they're real good.
Because they're troops. So you chuck in a Harlequin troop, and they can hold objectives.
Their troops are troops.
Their troops are troops. And
their objectives secured.
They can bring back troop models as well.
Yeah, D3.
So, yeah.
Very good.
Very good. And the Incarn himself, or itself, is great at just teleporting at certain points and causing all sorts of problems on the primary.
Yeah, it's real good. Yeah. Flip some objectives.
Yeah.
Okay, Ynnari get a big 3 from there. Secondaries. Now, they don't get, to caveat this, they do not get any Eldar or Harlequin secondaries.
Yeah.
But what they do well, is they actually score the book secondaries well.
Yes.
Things like Psychic Interrogation or Warp Ritual. They can score R&D incredibly well. And they're very killy, so if you've got to bring it down, no prisoners, assassinate, they have the tools in the toolbox to deal with the problems.
Yeah. Behind enemy lines, R&D, Psychic.
Yeah.
They're very good at them.
They are good. Okay, damage output. 4.
It's a 4.
Dean-Khan. D-Cannons.
Having witnessed firsthand
troops,
the damage output of this army, thank you, Ben Jones.
Yeah.
It's something else.
Potent.
It is potent. Potent stuff.
Army rules.
4.
Now,
for me, there is an argument for a 5.
Okay.
Because Fight First is extremely powerful when you combine it with the Incarn's ability to jump.
Yeah.
Because you could charge a unit and then... which way around is this going? You could charge the Incarn, do some damage to him, and you charge him with other units. But then because of Fight First, the Ynnari player goes next, maybe kills one of your units, and the Incarn suddenly jumps out of that combat and is safe.
Yeah.
For the Ynnari's next turn.
Yeah. Because basically what it does is it replaces
the
last model that's removed on the table of a unit.
Yeah.
So let's say you kill an enemy unit, you can pop up wherever that last model is. Yeah. You just can't stand up an engagement range of other models.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And of course they've got that +1 to hit if they're under starting strength.
Yeah.
Their psychic tree is excellent.
Really good, yeah. And it's got some okay stratagems.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they get access to the Craftworld and Harlequin stratagems. And then because all your Harlequins gain Ynnari keyword, things like your Autarch can give them +1 AP and other shenanigans and rerolls where they don't get from the Craftworld, the Harlequin book.
You can get Harlequins to AP 4 and then ignoring invulnerable saves.
Yeah.
Flat damage 3.
Yeah, maybe we haven't given these enough, Michael. Maybe it should have been a 5.
Maybe.
But look, there we have it. I think it should have been a 5, actually. Now we talk about it.
Yeah.
Any danger? You're right. Okay, cool. So next up, Drukhari.
Okay.
A Drukhari. What have you given their ability to play the primary?
3.
Cool. I'll leave it on then. Cool.
Yeah. 3. They've got transports to sit on objectives with.
Yeah.
They've got little obsec units they can throw out to deny objectives.
Yeah.
They're so cheap, these obsec units,
that
they can just keep doing that every turn.
Yep. You can have a unit in a transport. When you kill the transport, the troop jump out behind a wall. It's just, cray.
Yeah, it's very good. And the firing and fading with the obsec units as well to steal objectives.
And they've got good killing power to go onto an objective and clear you off it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, love it. And then you've got secondary plays.
It's a 3.
It's all right.
It's okay. Their Codex secondaries aren't amazing.
Yeah.
Anymore.
They used to be too busted, though.
They did. But they're very good at, again, some of the same things the Eldar are good at. Like R&D, fantastic. Behind enemy lines or engage, they're great at that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And any killing one, they're perfectly capable of that too.
Yeah, I like it. Damage output.
It's a 4.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 of their characters could make this a 4. Like, you got that Archon, you got that Succubus, and you got
that Drazar.
Drazar.
The big D.
Makes this a 4.
Yeah. And you got Dark Lances.
Incubi.
Yeah.
If you've played Drukhari, you know they can kill your stuff.
I mean, everything's good. Grotesques are good. Talos are good.
Yeah.
It all hits hard.
Yeah.
Army rules.
4.
Yeah.
Turn 2.
Advance in charge.
Your entire army.
Disgusting. Yeah.
When your army moves, like 10 inches or 16 inches.
But then you're getting out of a transport as well for an extra 3 inches.
This is crazy good. It's not like Space Marines where your 6-inch move with white scars can get you into combat.
No.
This is a lot further than that.
Yeah, you can have like phasing witches and stuff where they don't need to worry about your models and, you know, they can go invisible and stuff.
And
so
then getting an invuln later, +1 to hit, turn 3.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great army rules.
Right, okay, cool. So, next up, my favourite, the Harlequins.
Which brings me to a question for chat.
Yeah.
What's your favourite Eldar model? All right. What's your favourite? Obviously, there's a lot out there. There's even the Corsair.
Yeah.
Corsair guys, which are probably some of my favourites. But what is your favourite Eldar model?
Jane Czar's nice, isn't she?
Jane Czar's cool. She's very cool.
Yeah. The Avatar, wow.
That is an excellent model, which we have on the way as well, don't we?
From Siege, yeah.
From Siege, and that looks excellent.
The Incarn, I mean, wow. It's a great model.
Pretty incredible. I am a big fan of the Vizark.
Yeah.
The Vizark of the Ynnari. I think
this model that I've used my Troop Master.
The one we got there, that you've put the really cool conversion actually with the kiss. That's a kiss.
That's a kiss.
And then
I'll give him a power sword as well.
Mask. I think that's an excellent model, especially for the base of a conversion.
I would really love to see, because obviously they've redone Jane Czar.
And Morgan Ra.
Yeah. I'd love to see them all done.
Like the same.
I'd love to see a newer Sermon. Like, he's my favourite character.
Yeah, my favourite Phoenix Swords.
Azurman,
Karandras. So I'd like to see a Karandras.
Yeah.
But even some like Fugan.
Anyway, let's stop.
Right, okay.
Let's stop talking about this.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Primary
For
Quins.
I am blind. Oh, I'm not blind. It's there. 4.
Yeah, easy.
Little transports.
Loads of OBSEC troops. They kill you off it.
Yeah, they can heroically intervene if you try and take it.
They can turn off your OBSEC if you're dark.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Love it. Cool. Secondaries.
5.
Just 5. Okay, cool. Just 5.
Because you can take 3 straight away against someone that doesn't have Psychers, and even if they do, pretty much.
Yeah.
You got behind enemy lines, which stacks perfectly with deadly performance. In fact, I've very rarely played a Harlequins player where they haven't maxed both.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to stop them.
Yeah.
And then a third one of your choice.
Yeah.
Probably involves killing things, but it could be a psychic one.
They're really good.
Yeah.
Really strong.
Or even R&D, actually.
Yeah.
R&D or banners.
They do that.
And then max your secondaries.
Yeah, really good. Damage output.
I've got a 3.
Yeah, I agree.
It might seem a bit low for some of you out there, but, you know, they're not what they were with the busted Void Weavers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Void Weaver build aside, the actual combat elements of Harlequins, you're only strength 4.
Yeah.
And you're only 2 damage, maybe 3 damage, but then it starts to get expensive in terms of command points.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So, yeah, I do think their damage is limited.
Yeah, agreed.
Because their fusion pistols, like, you don't want to take a Harlequin army. This is what I could never get my head around. It's a combat army.
Yeah.
It's not a shooting army.
No.
So, the damage
not
output
anymore.
Is, yes, you can do damage through mortals.
Yes.
But you've got to really build for that, and that's only going to work against certain targets.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, mortal wounds on the charge, knights, you can't even affect them. So they do get just stat checked by some armies, and they're like, well, I can't really do anything here.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of damage 2 in the army, so anything -1,
yeah,
really hard to chew through. And then, of course, shuriken cannons against armor contempt just aren't that good anymore.
Exactly, yeah. Army rules, though. What are we giving it for that?
4.
Yep.
Yeah, each of the 3 Sadiths, I think, are all fantastic.
Yep.
I could see an argument for all of them, despite what people might say. And then being able to fall back and do whatever the hell you like
Yeah.
is obviously excellent.
Yeah.
Advance and charge, amazing.
Sean said, it's super chatted in. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. It really does help us in. When you do super chat your comments, honestly, we can't say thank you enough. All these little, $1, $2, it really adds up at the end of the month, and it helps us continually keep these lights on and put a roof over our heads. So thank you.
Yeah.
He said, Quins of the Dark with the Webway gate, yay or nay? I never ran one, did I? With the Dark?
No, I think we tried one once.
Yeah.
I actually used Guard in that game.
Yeah.
But the issue is that it telegraphs where your stuff's going to be.
It certainly does.
So it's like, well, okay, I'll just stay X number of inches away from that.
And also, I think it still has to be deployed properly like this.
I agree. And I would never do otherwise.
Yeah. I couldn't bring myself to putting it like that.
It would just hurt. It would just hurt.
I don't like it.
Couldn't do it.
And also, if you don't get... I actually think it works better with Ynnari, because then you still get the dice mechanic.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't want to come in from a thing and fail a charge, right? So, I personally wouldn't bother with one.
I wouldn't either.
So, 38th Ronin has said, 199 super chat, thank you so much. Is the Battle Sanctum a good option? Yes, I actually think that one's better. Because you can get Miracle Dice off it.
Yeah. It's still a ruin with Obscuring, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So
and it has got some bits which are line of sight blocking.
Yeah.
So you position it in the right way. Yeah. And I think it's really useful, yeah.
Whether it's worth the points over a unit on the ground, maybe you'd have to experiment with that.
Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, so again, thank you so much for your super chat. Right, so next up we've got Necrons.
Necrons, okay.
Okay, what's their ability to score primary? Now, we are assuming this army can pre-game move 6 inches, and it has objective secured.
Where's the 10 gone, Steve?
Oh, you just need to hold the 5 up twice.
Ah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're keeping it to 5, but it could be a 10.
It could well be a 10, yeah.
Could be a 10.
6-inch move with a pre-game is disgusting and everything obsec.
However, what I will say is they're not actually as durable as some other armies are. It can be easy to chew through them.
You saying that, but it also can take you 6 combat phases to kill 9 Scarab Squads, can't it?
It was a bad day for those possessed. They didn't enjoy having to chew through all of those Scarabs, especially losing half the unit in return.
I mean, in killing a Catan with a 3 wound cap is always easy.
Well, you just got to build for it.
Yeah, or Angel sacrifice 3 characters into it.
You all do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But the OBSEC entire army is incredible. Their move is fast,
which
means they can seal objectives very easily.
Secondaries,
still don't have the... it's 2 5s, isn't it? 5.
Yeah.
They're easy to do. You don't really have to interact with your opponent, and the rate of scoring is very high.
Well, you just see that you go, who am I playing? You go, rich Necrons. And then you go, what secondaries you taking? Don't worry about it. Just put 45.
Just put 45.
Just put 45. Yeah,
you got it.
Yeah, now, and you're like, fair. Actually, you will score that. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have become a member, actually, or you want to, or you're thinking about it, you probably should.
Yeah.
We've got a video on how to deal with Necrons.
Yeah.
And I haven't lost to Necrons with my Night Lords yet.
Right.
Because I've been putting those things into practice.
And you know what I've never done?
What?
I've never lost to Necrons with my Blood Angels either. Yeah.
Maybe we're doing something right.
Maybe we got the tactics.
Maybe we've got the tactics.
I certainly don't have the Tic Tacs because my breath smells.
I can confirm.
Anyway. Damage output.
Damage output. So we mark this as... Where is it? Was it a 2?
It's about 2 to 3.
It's a 2 to 3.
Depending on the build.
Yeah. Satan good.
Yep.
But
Silent King's good.
You got to roll well with the Satan.
Destroyers are situational.
Destroyers, yeah. D3 damage on Locust Destroyers, not great. The Scorpex don't really have enough attacks to be scary.
And they got to get there. Easily move blocked.
Yeah, I just don't... The damage isn't great, is it?
It's not amazing, though.
The Silent King's probably your best damage dealer. And he's lost core now, so that's pretty significant for their damage output, actually, him losing core.
Army rules.
4.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. You've got two of the best traits in the game, except that you can take them together.
Yeah.
And you've got protocols now, which actually mean something every single turn.
Yeah.
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 You come back, reanimation protocols. I mean, it's basically carried by the OBSEC and scout move, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Really, really good.
All right, nice.
And having core on so
Yeah.
much of your stuff, that also makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
Because if you put core on loads of stuff in other armies, they'd be just as disgusting.
Yeah, nice. Jake said, how would you guys rank the individual sedatives after the data slate?
Well, it just meant basically you couldn't advance and shoot your pistols.
Yeah.
Which sort of really hurts the mobility.
I never liked light anyway.
Well, I didn't either. I thought it was a bit boring,
Yeah.
if I'm honest. I am a big fan of...
Out of the list that you've seen me play, my Dark and
Yeah.
my Twilight, which one are you scared of?
I actually think it's the Dark, you know.
Yeah?
I think it's the Dark. Turning off Overwatch is big.
Yeah.
Turning off OBSEC's big. And then I actually think the Mortal Wounds is really scary.
Yes.
Because when I charge a unit of 5 guys, you could spike, do 3 Mortal Wounds, and every time I fight your guys, I'm taking Mortal Wounds in addition to whatever you interrupt with or kill me with.
Yeah.
I actually think Dark's quite scary. Yeah.
Yeah, I
What
agree.
do you think?
I mean, I like both.
Yeah. Twilight is very good.
Twilight, yeah. My current Twilight list I do like a lot.
The loss of AP, of course, Dark get the extra AP, which is nice.
What Twilight get is the auto wound on 6s.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So that's quite nice, especially with so many attacks.
And the CP generation is good as well.
Exactly, yeah. Which a lot of people don't take, but I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's
great.
awesome.
You just gamble and you get some CP.
Yeah. How do you turn off OBSEC with Dark? I think it's a relic.
I think it's a relic.
The Ghoul Mask,
The
I
Ghoul
think?
Mask, I'm pretty sure.
It's been a while, been a good few months since I played Dark.
I might be wrong, guys. Correct me if I am, but
No, I think I
feel
said
like
it
that
as
is
well,
a
yeah.
Dark thing.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so right, what have we got next? That's Quinn's done. We're getting close now. That's
Yeah.
Cron's done.
Oh, skip these.
So we skip.
Nobody
Okay, cool.
likes these.
We'll skip over these then.
Take them off.
Orcs. Orcs it is.
Right, Orks.
So you've given their primary score. Now you're an Orc player, Michael, aren't you?
I do dabble.
Yeah.
I dabble in the Daka.
You do.
I'm a Daka dabbler.
So what are you going to give the primary?
A 2.
A 2.
Yeah. They're not fast enough to really deny points very well. Yes,
Yeah.
they have truck boys, but it's only a couple of units.
Yeah.
Holding objectives can be pretty hard
Mm-hmm.
because they do die quite easily if they're in the open.
Yeah.
So it's a 2.
Yeah.
Sorry, Orc players. I'm sure we've got Kilton in the chat. Let me know what you think.
But the thing is, Kilton's a magical beast.
He is a magical beast.
So when you've got Rich Kilton with the primary in Orcs, it's just a 5.
Yeah.
Okay, because he is a magical beast. We've just seen a comment from Carl and it's hidden.
Well, what I like is he said that first.
Yeah. We got to town. He went, yes, I'm so happy. And then we've obviously skipped them. And he's not happy. So anyway, we're going to carry on with the Orcs. And I might do Tower, who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Only because that model was beautifully painted by Siege,
Yeah.
and obviously they're a channel sponsor, and we probably should shout them out.
Yeah.
Secondaries for Orcs.
4.
Yeah.
I think they've got absolutely fantastic secondaries.
Banging secondaries.
Banging secondaries. Get the good bits is great. Green Tide is great.
Yeah.
War Boss thing is great, especially with Gazgul.
Yeah.
If you play it right. Yeah. I think it's great.
Yeah. Now, we've just had a super chat from Tomcat
Oh,
with
yeah.
loads of electrical high voltage symbols and wah. And he's put in 50 DKK. So thank you so
Krona?
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Thank you so much for your
Yes,
super chat. It
thank
really
you.
does mean a lot. Okay, all right. Orcs secondaries 4, nice.
Okay.
Damage output. What are you
Damage
giving them?
output at the moment, I feel like in this meta,
Bit lackluster.
it is a bit lackluster.
Yeah.
Getting AP1 in your choppers is great, but
Yeah.
Temp completely nullifies it.
Mhm.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And their combat's not incredible. Their shooting's not incredible because they don't really hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you played Orcs twice at the weekend? It was quite
Once.
a shooty list, though, wasn't it?
Pure guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The issue was
Yeah.
my opponent put a unit within 23 inches
Right.
and it was Death and Zeal.
Yeah.
So it's very, very short deployment. And I looked and I went, oh, those Gretchen look a little bit close. So I basically I advanced and charged my Terminators.
Yeah.
Spent a CP to auto advance from 6.
Yeah.
So now they're going 11.
Yeah.
And then I used a stratagem for auto 6 charge plus a dice.
Yeah.
So I was in combat. And I attacked the Gretchen. He had 2 units of looters above me, so I engaged them both.
Yeah.
Wrapped the truck that was in a ruin. And therefore he couldn't get the truck out. and therefore none of his guns could shoot my Terminators. And now my Terminators are in the deployment zone.
That's a bit sad, isn't it?
So he kind of moved out as much as he could. But the next turn, my Terminators were free, and they just went melter gun, bang, and then chop, 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 and then.
I think I remember you spending 3 hours actually over dinner just laughing at how nasty you were in that game.
I wouldn't do anything like that.
Yeah,
I'm not that type of vindictive.
You were like, yes, and I killed everything.
Yeah, I did. I did like an anti-war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty sure you said he may as well have put his models in the bin.
I didn't say that. I would never say that.
I'm joking.
Don't say things like that because people actually believe it, Michael. Jesus. Right. Anyway. Army
rules.
Oh, God. Let's give up on this now. I'm sick of this.
Army rules.
Seb, can you swap in instead of Michael?
Yeah. It's a 3. Army rules. The war's great, especially with the balance update.
See,
5+ Invun's great.
Kilton's here now.
Yeah.
He's just shouted the war.
Yeah.
And he's putting 2 on primary. You got Rich Kilton. What are your Kilton? Tell me, Kilton.
Give us your numbers.
Give me your numbers, Kilton. You know. Now, Rich Kilton is probably the best Orc player I've ever played. Like, you're good, but you know Rich Kilton. No offense. But Rich Kilton, give me your numbers, okay? Tell me what they are. Jamie Schoolcraft has put in a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Does Steven still have flashbacks of his repulsor getting popped by Kilton's shock attack gun? Still remember watching that.
Well, that's why you laughed for 3 hours.
Thanks, mate. No, there's a story about me playing Rich.
Yeah, I know.
Every single one of my 3 repulsors died. And I killed his shock attack gun.
Yeah.
He left him out in the open. I was like, Rich, that's a schoolboy, isn't it? And he was like, I think I've messed up. And I took out his shock attack gun. He went, cool, 2 CP, shoot on death. Blew up my repulsor that just killed him.
Yeah.
Right? And then with his regular shock attack gun, with his next one, which is like the rubbish one, just nuked my next repulsor.
Nice.
And that one had 6 aggressors in.
Yeah.
Guess how many ones I rolled?
5.
4.
Ouch.
Yeah. I was like, Rich, does it not get boring playing Warhammer on God mode? Yeah, it was savage, actually.
Well, that explains why you hate playing Orcs so much.
Yeah, and Rich.
And
just hate playing Rich.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I can play Orcs all the time.
Fair enough.
Just Rich, really. Yeah. So Tattooed Tabletop is $20 donation. Thank you so much. Got to throw in my super chat and show you some love for VT. How you did you guys see the Goth SoCal list that won? If so, thoughts? I didn't see the list.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I quite like it.
Yeah.
I think so. There is a lot of bomb squigs in there.
Okay.
And I actually think they're one of the most powerful tools the Orcs have because it's just mortals you can chuck at basically anything in the game.
Yeah.
I haven't looked really closely at the list, but it's really, really interesting.
I've always been a Goth player. I do like the Goths. Did he have big gas?
I can't remember.
Oh,
Probably.
Yeah, you should have gas.
Yeah. I can't remember, I'm afraid.
No, I like it. I'll check that list out and have a look. Yeah. Okay,
so big blobs of commandos. I remember that.
All right, nice.
So yeah.
So I think we're getting near the end of the list now.
Yes,
then we're going to get... Look, all right, we'll do Tau just because of Kyle. Otherwise, you know what he's going to do? He's going to cry or something.
He's going to cry. He probably is already crying.
Yeah.
You know, he's always crying.
My phone's already going. He's already messaging me. Anyway, Tau.
Yeah, he cries whenever he loses a game.
I know. I cry when he talks about Tau.
Yeah, that's actually why he wears a kilt.
All the time. Anyway, again, beautifully painted by CJ, our Farsight. Yep.
Yeah, I did make that up.
Yeah.
Right.
Primary.
Where were we? Primary for Tau. It's a 3.
Yeah.
This is mainly because, big unit crisis suits.
Enforcer Commander, makes them obsec.
Easily hide, protect characters with Lookout Sir.
Yeah.
And Riptides. If you got Riptides, they're pretty hard to shift off objectives.
Yeah. And they've got so many little pre-game moving units as well for screening games, so you can't just drop in and deny.
Yeah.
You got ways to stop people jumping in within 12 inches as well, deep strike.
Yeah. And, of course, you can send breaches and devilfish up the board and just jump out onto people's objectives.
I think it's right.
Yeah.
Not amazing, but it's okay.
Yeah.
All right, secondary play.
Secondaries, 3. It could be higher.
It depends on who you're playing.
Yeah. If they give up a kill secondary, then it's probably a 4.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they've got 2 good secondaries, really.
Yeah.
One is taking half the objectives whenever they feel like it. And then the other one is doing actions in certain parts of the board.
Yeah.
They're quite good. Other than that, obviously they don't have any psychers, so they're really relying on maybe grind them down or a killing objective, which if there isn't one, they will struggle secondary-wise.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Rich Kilton, he's putting his scores in the doors here. Mm-hmm. He's finally caught up with this. He said a 3 on primary. Okay, so we said a 2, didn't we?
Yeah.
So, okay, 3. He said 4 on secondaries.
Okay.
What did you give it?
4.
Yeah, okay, cool. 2 on damage output.
Yeah. 2. Yeah, that's what we gave it.
So, army rules. Did we cover army rules on Orks?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
Did we? We may have missed it.
Yeah, I think we said it was a 3.
Okay, well, if we did forget it, because I think we might have.
Yeah, 3.
We gave it a 3.
Yeah,
cool.
WAR is good after the balanced data slates.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Okay, cool. So, Tau, damage output.
Damage output.
Now, this depends.
Yes.
This does depend on the terrains that you're playing on.
Yeah.
Heavy terrain, probably an argument for a 4. Maybe a 3.
Tau are massively impacted by the terrain, aren't they?
And as they should be.
Yes.
But they're unleashed with minimal terrain. They're horrific.
Yeah. Good player.
And they only get better when they get to turn 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're a good player, so not Kyle, then
or Chris,
then you're going to be doing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
A lot of damage.
Yeah.
It's basically carrying their other stuff, really, isn't it?
Really is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you completely. Army rules for Tau.
Army rules for Tau.
Yeah.
What do we go for? 4, I think.
Yeah, and I think you've been. I think you've actually done one shy there. I think there should be a 5 personally.
I think so.
Yeah, I think they got the redeploy. They got the ability to pre-game move. They can choose like how they want to fight, when they want to fight. I think there's some really cool stuff in that book.
Yeah. So some of the builds, especially like we've seen from Kyle, so I'm not mean to him the entire time we're here. Riptides being able to basically fire and fade as part of their abilities. And then having a crisis blob that does the same thing.
Yep.
The planes, obviously good data sheet. It's cheap. And just bombing, and then so many shots from one of those planes as well.
Yeah.
So
and like the thing is, like you look at, I will give credit a little bit of credit to Carl here, but basically, like when you look at somebody that is just dedicated to a faction.
Yes.
Every time Games Workshop said, look, actually maybe tone it down a bit. Carl's like, don't worry, I'll find some more pages in here to work through, and actually keeps finding new stuff.
Yeah.
To work on, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. It does show the depth of the book.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So next up, we've got. So that's a good score from the Tau. Somebody's asking the chat about a tally. We do have a tally for you. It will be coming up very, very soon.
Yes.
Okay. We've got all the scores on the doors. Right. So need to skip over Orks. We've already done that one. We've got 2 left. Nids. Wow.
Nids are pretty good.
Nids are good. So what we give them for primary, mate? Now, bear in mind they can get their monsters with counting as 5.
Yes.
Warriors are unbelievable. So point efficient. A 4.
It's a 4.
Yeah.
It's not a 5.
Probably was with Leviathan.
It probably was with Leviathan. Their speed leaves something to be desired. But over the course of the game, they're very hard to shift off objectives.
Yeah.
So I think a 4 is about right.
Yep.
Yeah. Tough to kill, plenty of obsec. Yeah, very good.
Yep. Ability for the move away. Oh yeah. Cool. Secondaries
is a 4.
Yep.
Now, inherently in their book, the secondaries aren't amazing.
Cranial feasting can be okay.
Cranial feasting is okay.
Yeah.
Banners can be pretty reliable when you've got those giant warrior blocks. And psychic interrogation is basically you always take it.
Yeah.
Because you can get that 3d6 cast with potentially +2. You're always getting it off, and you're getting a CP from it as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think a 4
gargoyles for R&D and engaging. I think there's lots of plays. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also they kill stuff. So if you're giving up no prisoners or bring it down, they're definitely bringing it down and taking no prisoners.
Yeah.
So they can do all those kinds of things as well. Okay, and that probably leads us on to our next point: damage output.
Damage output. It's a big 5.
Yeah.
They're active in every single phase.
Yeah.
And they slap in every single phase, particularly the psychic phase. Yeah. Those units of zoanthropes are terrifying.
Yeah.
3d6 cast, +3 to cast, well, +4 to cast.
Remember the old big brain dude?
Yeah, the old Maleceptor. It's still good.
Still really good.
People still doing well with him. I know Paul Bridge, who's one of our students, he went on and won, I believe, an event recently using a Maliceptor.
Yeah.
So they're still fantastic units.
I mean, the bloomin' Reaper of Obliterax.
The Reaper of
Been nerfed,
Obliterax,
but still great.
It's interesting. A lot of people are saying the change isn't enough, but I actually want to address that really quickly.
Yeah.
I think it makes the Hive Tyrant with wings far less capable in combat with Horde units. Because at very most now, he's got those 5 attacks. Well, you can use a strat. So let's say he's got 7 attacks, and he can do 3 mortal wounds. That's a maximum of 10 models he can kill.
Yeah.
You put 11 models into him, there's literally no way you can kill all of them.
Yeah.
Whereas with the mortals, you could do 7 mortals in addition to killing 7 models with your normal attacks.
Yeah.
So it's a massive change. I think it's an understated change.
Yeah. Rich Kilton said, "Thank you, Stephen, and I consider you one of the best humans I've had the honour of playing." Rich Kilton, thank you so much.
It's very kind of you.
You lie.
I certainly do.
But I love it. You disagree? Yeah, I don't blame you. But honestly, Rich, thank you so much, mate. You are a legend. And I can't wait to see you at LVO again, mate. Mandy D super chatting with the $10 donation. Thank you so much, Mandy.
Kraken are the best.
Kraken are the best,
And
apparently.
I think we will see a shift to Kraken.
Yeah?
Yeah.
See, I really like Behemoth. Is that what I was taking?
Behemoth. Yeah, that's what you
Plus
were doing.
1 strength,
Yeah,
fight on death.
Fight on death's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah.
In fact, imagine if an entire army had fight on death.
Oh, can you
Anyway.
imagine? Can you imagine how good they'd be?
Anyway.
Yeah, right. Okay, cool. Moving on.
Yes. Army rules.
Army rules.
Pretty sure it's a 5.
Would have been a 10 if they could still pick.
Would have been 10. Look,
If
their
they could-
imperatives are amazing.
Yeah.
Synapse works amazingly.
Link range.
Link range is incredible.
Yeah.
Just chuck your buffs onto the other side of the battlefield.
Mm.
Every single data sheet, pretty much,
Yep.
I would take.
Yep.
Like, in a heartbeat.
All the characters are great.
All the characters are great.
All give you cool abilities.
I think pretty much all of the traits are really good as well.
Yeah.
The fact you can swap out one of your traits for just flat obsec on your monsters is crazy as well.
Yeah.
Or, heroic intervention or +1 charge, whatever.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, Army Rules 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. By the way, are you enjoying our tier faction review? Let us know in the comments. We really would like to hear your feedback. This is the first time we've ever done it. We want to do something a little bit different, so do let us know your thoughts on our production, what we sound like, the visuals, the graphics. Please let us know. And if you have enjoyed it, please give it. We were at 69. Oh, we're at 70 likes now. We were at 69 likes. But if you do like it, please let us know. It's a great indication of telling us to do more of this content. Literally, we sit here twiddling our thumbs thinking, what content shall we make? So if you tell us this is terrible content, we won't make anything more like this again. If you tell us it's great and you love it over other things, we'll make more of it. So you literally, if you love it, we'll make more of it. It's, that simple. Yeah. Okay, cool. Finally, we're on to the Jake Harding second faction, the GSC. All right.
Okay.
What do we go for? This is the last one, then we'll give you the roundup of where we're at before 9:30. Cool. GSC. What have you given them?
Primary play.
Someone has
It
to
is
be
low. Somebody did have to be a 1. So why have I chosen a 1?
Yeah.
Well, their units don't really stay alive on objectives out in the open.
Yeah.
Yes, there's some extreme builds with lots of bikes that do very well.
Yeah.
I'll concede that point. Taking objectives off the enemy, quite difficult.
Yep.
You have to rely on advancing and charging if you can. And even then, you have to kill the units there. So, yeah, I would give them a 1 because I can't think of many units in the game that would struggle to take off a cult unit on an objective.
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking...
Unless it's a big bike squad.
I'm thinking a Strachan.
And 10 Catachans.
10 Catachans.
32 strength, 4 attacks.
Just for Matt. Yeah, love it. Secondaries.
Secondaries,
they're a bit better.
they're a lot better with their secondaries, aren't they? It's a 4.
Yeah, I think it's really strong, yeah.
It's 4. They've got Brood Swarm, which is a fantastic secondary for just being on the board. R&D, they can do very, very well.
Yeah.
And they can take psychic ones as well.
Yep.
And those are the options they have. I think they've got great secondary to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, we've got a $10 donation from CP Trusco. Just wanted to say hi and nice to meeting you both at SCS and getting to play my first tournament match against Mike on Friday and being a great sport. Ross,
yeah, nice that you're catching up, Ross.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed our game. He played Space Wolves, and it was his first event ever.
Wow.
So, yeah, absolute pleasure and great spirit for the game. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing you at more events, Ross.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much as well for your super chat. Son of Ross Great content, learning so much. Hope to join the academy soon. Like I said, it is opening up very, very soon. All the dates will be revealed, so make sure you're on the waiting list, and you'll be the first to hear about when you can grab your spots, okay? And if you are on the waiting list, you do get first dibs onto that. We're also going to be bringing back our Learn to Play 40k 7-day challenge.
Yes.
That's coming back soon. That'll be kicking off before the academy. So if you're considering and thinking, all right, I wouldn't mind brushing up on all the basics and get some live support, you know, we're basically a great way to get stuck in.
If you want to get someone else into the game.
Yeah, great way to do it with them.
It's a great way to do it. It's great guidance as well if there's clubs that you're running and stuff. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Ginger Steve has super chatted 449. Thank you. I'm not enjoying this. Okay, cool. The sound is great. Can hear Jake under the desk raging as his army choices get downvoted, trying to reach up to grab the mic. Yeah, it's like his little hand. Yeah.
Get down there, Jake.
Yeah.
Stay down there.
Yeah.
He keeps trying to grab the one off the desk, so I don't give it to his armies.
I know. Okay, cool. So somebody's asked, what does the academy entail? Well, that is entirely live stream for itself. But basically, the academy is 17 weeks.
Yes.
17 modules.
Yes.
Each module contains on average 8 lessons. Each lesson is on average 11 minutes long. Even if you started watching the academy, you wouldn't even finish it if you watched it for over an entire day.
Yeah.
There is over
back to back, with no breaks.
With no breaks.
Literally non-stop.
No. And we basically cover everything from how to analyze and write your own army, like your own army list, how to analyze the strengths and weaknesses, then moving on to how to tweak it after games, what you should be looking at, what data points, what you shouldn't be, and then we go over to deployment, every single phase of the game. We look at combat tactics. You name it, there's a module on it.
Yes.
So it is the most comprehensive course in the world if you want to learn how to play 40k.
With constant support from us as well.
We get live lessons every day, yeah. Okay, cool. Mandy did the 7-day challenge. She said it's great. And she's done it twice, see? Mandy's awesome.
Legend.
Yeah. Okay, Weird Puppy, to be fair, I thought you were being sarcastic. Okay, so here we go. Last one. Damage output. We've got 2 more. Damage output. Let's do.
This is 2.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sorry, Jake, but lots of auto guns. Yes, there's seismic cannons and things, but low AP.
If Aberrants, the Tan boys, had core, I think that'd help them a bit.
Yeah,
and
currently
we're a bit cheaper.
They've only got like 2 attacks each.
Yeah, they need a bit more.
Which is a bit rubbish.
And the rock saws need more attacks.
Yeah,
I agree. And they just don't stick around. So you've got it, and then it's done it, and then it's dead.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So then, finally, army rules.
Army rules. Where was this? I think this was giving it a 2.
Yeah.
Crossfire is really good, to be fair.
Yeah.
And some of their stratagems are good as well.
Yeah.
But just like the data sheets themselves aren't incredible. It's not lots of attacks. There's not like a unit that's super efficient.
Yeah.
Or even that efficient, frankly. As I've said, Aberrants, not enough attacks. Even the Patriarch, to me, is quite disappointing. Yeah. As like a master Genestealer.
Yeah.
Only damage 2. Found that disappointing. And some of the faction traits, like the custom ones, can be pretty good. Yeah. But the different cults, they're just a bit lacking. Yeah. So that's why 2. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, Tinder's joined the chat again. Oh, excellent. Let's hide that user. Okay. They want to get on this basic training. They do, yeah. Ginger Steve, another 449. I'm enjoying this, but working and super chatting on the phone. Obviously, I can't multitask, unlike Jake, who can jump and grab at the same time. Yes, exactly, yeah. He's good at jumping and grabbing. Actually. Yeah, that's why we have to get this higher table. Yeah. So he couldn't just grab, he has to jump and grab. Yeah, exactly. We really got to get him doing some exercise. Thanks for the super chat. Ginger Steve. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, cool. Mephistana said, when does the academy open up? Interested, but this half of the year is mega busy for me. It'll be opening up in December. That's right. Sometime in December. We know the date, but we're not going to say it just yet. Yeah. Keeps the suspense. But the thing is, if you buy the academy course, do you know what you get? What do you get, Steve? You get to keep it. What, forever? Well, yeah, so even past the 16 weeks. What, so I could... Watch it in week 18, yeah. Sign up, and even if I'm really busy... Watch it this time next year? And then just watch it next year? You can do that. Oh, that's amazing. You can absolutely do that, yeah. Wow. That's pretty good, isn't it? That is pretty good. Yeah. That is pretty good. And any further updates, like if there's a new mission book that comes out? Yep. then we'll update that for free if you've got the Academy.
Yep, absolutely. Now, the other thing as well with it, is basically you get, if you go for like the silver package, where you get the community support, like what it was before. Once you've finished it and you just want to stay part of the community, you can just pay a very small nominal fee each month, $10, and you can stay part of our community.
Yep,
and you get all the live lessons.
Yep.
You get access to all the live lessons and all members' content.
Yep.
So you get double trouble.
Double trouble.
So you get access to the Discord, like more than just the members' Discord. There's a whole Academy section.
Yeah. Which we do. We even do stuff like TTS events on there, tabletop simulator events if you're not familiar, and where you can play basically online Warhammer, which is great. Yeah, as well.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. So that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. So then, I can close that down, and I can close that down, and I can close this down because we've got something special for you lot.
I have to say, Steve's worked very hard on getting these awesome graphics and these fantastically painted models up there on the side. So, well done, Steve.
Thank you.
They look great.
Thank you very much. Tattoo Tabletop said also 110% recommend the one-to-one coaching. That is obviously something we offer as well. Yeah. That is independent to the Academy, but you can do it in conjunction with as well. So you can, if you just want one-to-one coaching, you can go and sign up on the website and buy it now. Yeah. We can help you with your list. We can help you prepare for a tournament. Last night, I was actually coaching somebody in person. Oh. Yeah, we did a coaching game. So it's something we can offer too. If you get in
sounds
contact.
like a very premium.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. It is. Pretty special, actually. But yeah, I had an awesome time. Anyway, look, we got one more thing. Oh, we've got another super chat right now. Weird Puppy, been a member for 7 months. Speaking of TTS events, when will the next VT one be?
I don't know.
We'll have to speak to Ian. Ian in the chat, Ian James, he runs all the TTS events for VT. We'll have to get something organised. He's been very busy of late, but I'm sure Ian will be cooking up something ready for the next Academy launch. Yes. So obviously if you're staying as a member with us, then obviously you'll just join on the next one. Yeah. We'll give the new people on the Academy some time to get to learn the ropes of it, teach everybody how to do it. Yeah. And then basically we'll crack on with a new event. Okay. Cool. So finally, this is what you've been waiting for. Mm-hmm. Are you ready? What's your prediction? I'll give you 10 seconds. Yep. Put your prediction in. Who do you think is... Put biggest winner, then biggest loser. Yeah. Do a little drum roll or something.
Bom, 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 bom.
I think there's like a lag or something because they're not saying anything. Right. Okay. Cool. Anyway, so let's do this.
There is a bit of lag, you're right.
There's a big lag.
We're waiting. Tyranids or Tau? Necrons.
Look, Mandy. Winner. Come on, Mandy. Come on.
GSC losers. That is sad. Biggest loser Tau. You mean Kyle? Oh, wait. I see what you mean. Loser GSC. Not really playing ninth. Really. Love you, by the way, Kyle. It's all in jest. You know that.
I don't.
Loser GSC.
People getting on the biggest loser
Kyle. Biggest loser
hype.
Kyle.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kicking something off there. Sorry, Kyle. We've actually created a hate campaign towards you now. Really apologise about that. Anyway, it was just a joke, apparently. Right, cool. So I'm going to crack on with this. The scores on the doors are shock, horror. Okay, the final scores out of 20. There we have it, the summary. So, the Chaos Space Marines, the Creations of Bile. Yes. An 18 out of 20.
Yes.
I'm not shocked.
I'm not shocked either.
I'm shocked they didn't get changed in the balance update.
What do we think, outside of Bile and perhaps Emperor's Children, they would be sitting at?
15?
I think 15 is probably fair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think Emperor's Children have fantastic army rules. And their secondaries are really hard.
They are.
Like they don't come easy.
No.
They play the primary well because the objective's secured. Yeah, but I think World Eaters would be similar. Yeah. I really want to try World Eaters. But their army rules just aren't quite as good. No. Like some of the strats and things. Especially with Bile about. With Bile about, I'd feel more confident playing World Eaters. Yeah. But because Bile are about, World Eaters, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, So yeah, I think without the Creations of Bile, maybe Emperor's Children. I also think you take Abaddon out of Emperor's Children, and that massively comes down.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I think Abaddon is a crutch.
Yeah,
which is why I've put a picture of him there. I mean, he's
Yeah.
beautifully painted by C Studios, but he is literally holding up Chaos right now.
He is with that hand.
Yeah, he's also probably holding up Chaos Knights as well somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. So, what was I going to say? Tyranids, 18. They're a top contender. Imperial Knights, 17. So they're our top 3.
Yeah, I think a lot of people underestimate Imperial Knights with the 3-blade lance.
Yeah.
Excellent. Then
you've got Necrons, Sororitas, and Harlequins, all with great mission play potential.
Yep.
Tau for just sheer damage output.
Yeah.
Chaos Knights, again, good across the board.
Yeah.
Ynnari, massive amounts of damage output, great army rules, lacking slightly on secondaries, but okay on the primary. Blood Angels, well, they're okay.
Yeah.
You know, some idiots have shown them how they can be played.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all right. Drukhari, good army rules.
Yeah.
Votann.
Good, powerful shooting
obviously,
and powerful army rules.
We don't know. We haven't seen them in the competitive field yet.
That's true.
But they're not shaken out too bad as it stands.
A few events have been played with Votann.
Yeah.
I think there was one top 5 placing out of 7 games.
But we haven't got all the new units and stuff,
no,
right?
exactly. We don't have everything.
So Custodes, Craftworld 13, Chaos Demons 13, Deathwatch 13, Space Wolves 12, Dark Angels 12, Admech 12, Orks 11, Thousand Suns 10, Grey Knights 10, Space Marines 9.
Anyone says it, we know Deathwatch is spelled wrong, okay?
What?
It's spelled wrong. It's fine.
Deathwatch?
There's a C in front of the T.
Well, I'm dyslexic.
Yes.
So when you try and
typing
write...
very quickly as well, trying to get this done. So.
I did do this 7 minutes before we started the stream.
Yeah.
So when you type in capital letters and you're dyslexic, it just kind of roughly looks okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Death Guard 9, GSC 9, Black Templars 9, and Astra Militarum...
-7.
-7, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So there we have it. Guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in tonight.
Yes.
It's been awesome.
Yes.
Been a really good show, I think. I've enjoyed it. Thank you, Michael, thank you much for your support today.
Well, you're very welcome.
Seb, you've done a wonderful job in the corner, switching those cameras between the 3. There we go. Look at Seb showing off now.
Yeah.
Such a show off. Jake in the chat for not being here tonight, because without you, Jake, we'd have been playing a game and we wouldn't have been doing this, would we now? So thank you, Jake. Yeah.
Now stay down there.
Yeah, with your lem sips. Anyway, Jake, we do wish you a very speedy recovery soon. Thank you to Ian, Kyle, everybody in the chat who's chimed in from VT, Matt. Thank you, Mandy, for all your super chats tonight, and everybody else that's super chat tonight. But do let us know, have you enjoyed tonight's content?
He spells as good as he rolls.
Not well. Not well. Tattooed Tabletop, one final super chat for Steve. I hit my weight loss this morning at 210, but going to keep cutting and get lean. Awesome. That is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, mate. Yeah, keep it going. Brilliant. Weird Puppy, this is why Steve sometimes plays Blood Angels and gets very obtuse about his rules. Yeah.
Yeah, he said Blood Angles. Obtuse. It's a pun. Good job. Good job. I noticed it.
Well, I'm dyslexic, so I didn't.
Yes.
I just saw Blood Angels because it kind of looks similar.
Yeah.
Or I'm just not pernickety about people's spelling and I just let them have it.
What's the metric here? So just quickly to reiterate, we've ranked all the armies on their ability to play the primary.
Yeah, out of 5.
Out of 5. The ability to do their secondaries.
Out of 5.
All the options they have. Their damage output in any phase.
Yeah.
And the army rules. Army rules including data sheets.
Yeah.
And
stratagems, warlord traits, relics.
Yes.
Yeah, you name it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it's out of, yeah. 48 Verona, be signing up for the academy. It'd be awesome to have you on the books with us. Thank you very much. And playing for VT. Mandy's could become a captain. Thank you so much. But anyway, yeah, look, really hope you've enjoyed tonight. Yeah, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let us know if you've enjoyed this content. If you have, we'll make more of it. Yes. But without all that being said, we'll see you next week where we'll be running... What have we got on the cards for next week?
I think we might do a cheeky bit of Votann.
Bit of Votann next week.
Versus Admech.
Okay, all right.
Throw off with some different technological ideals.
Okay.
And see
We're
how
basically
that goes.
doing Horde Votann versus Horde Admech.
I think that'd be cool.
And just going to stand 24 inches apart.
Yeah.
And then Admech will win.
Volley. Yes.
Because Votann have only got 18-inch range.
Ah.
Cool, yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
and
cool.
they can only move 5.
Yeah, nice. I
Yeah.
like it.
So they're just that inch
Good
short.
plan.
Isn't that right, Jake? Always an inch short. Yeah. Anyway, on that bombshell, we'll see you next week for an epic game of 40k. And we've had the final score up the whole time. So
excellent.
Anyway.
Excellent.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.